before I come back. All right, and we live, right? Um, I appreciate everyone coming on. Let me see. So all right, so let's stir the pot a little bit, right? And then we'll tone it down. Do y'all think abortions is fair?
Fair to who? The kid or the mother or the woman?
Well, as far as how can we make it fair as far as women have the right in certain states uh to exercise that right, have an abortion. How can it be fair? They have the right to exercise an abortion or give the child away or just completely step away. How can it be fair towards a man? Like what option should a man have?
The same rights that the woman has.
Like what?
He should be able to help decide what they want to do.
What exactly is that? Because you think he's gonna have the right to say, okay, why don't you to take that out your stomach?
I mean, it's his kid too. So I'm not with abortion. I'm just saying if we're gonna have a woman choose, a man should choose too. That's his child.
I'm not for abortions. I'm definitely not. But
Yeah.
when I seen a lady named Krishan Rock, I said I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So what do y'all think? How can we? What right, Kim? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So Kim, we're just starting just for a little bit till we get to the main topic. Just asking about abortions, right? Whether it doesn't matter if you agree with it, you disagree with it, people do it.
Mm-hmm.
Women have the right to abort their child, have the child, or give it up for adoption, right? What? How can we make it fair for the man? Should he have the right to just say, you know what, you can have it, but I want to sign something. I want nothing to do with the child. No child support, nothing.
Mm.
That's deep.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's the same if a woman decides to get rid of her child, then if he says I don't want to be with the child either, then he could sign his rights over. It's like the same thing.
But if a man has a child, he can't give the child up for adoption. If the if you have birth, if you give birth in most states, even if there's a if you're not married, if there's a male present, she can still give the child up, even though the father say no, I want my child, and then he has to go to court for whatever amount of time and fight to have it. So, what do you think? What will make it fair for the man?
Make it fair. I feel like at the end of the day, like it's women's body, women's choice, and because if you're gonna choose, if she as a woman chooses to have the baby, whether he wants to be a part of it or not, like you have to be able to hold it down with or without that person. So it's gonna be on you. So you cannot look look to that person for their participation. If they choose not to, that's their choice, that's their right. It may take two of you both knew how you got to that point, but at the end of the day, if how that person feels, if you choose to still go forward, that's on you. That's just personally how I feel about it. Like you're making that decision about your body with your child. That's on you to be able to. If you're gonna go forward, that you have to be able to provide. If not, then why keep it? That's just how I feel about it.
So what do you think with the guy? So the woman decides she wants to have it. What do you? And the guy decides, okay, but I don't want to. I want to sign something. I want no rights to the child, no financial responsibilities. Do you believe in that?
Yeah. If you
Okay.
just if you both like takes two, you become pregnant. Father doesn't want to be a part, but you choose that you want to have this child, and he doesn't want. You decide still you want to have this child, then that's on you. So if he doesn't want no parts, then that's on him. You give him what he wants, and that's it. That's it. Everything else doesn't have to be so hard. I don't think.
How about if, let's say, the woman doesn't want the child, right? But the man wants the child. So shouldn't he be able to have the kid just like anybody else that has it, and give them up for adoption and give them to the father and let him raise his child and then let her sign that she can't see him or her no more if that's the case?
I agree with
Yes,
that.
you mean directly or
No, I'm sorry. I'm just saying
You
it's
just ask in general.
just in general?
No.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, brother? He said.
I would just like to see a man have a choice, just like the ladies were alluding to, and articulating her body, her choice. I want to know what that looks like on the man's side, if he ever has a choice for his body.
Well, for me with that, I feel like the same thing. Like it would be fair, but I feel like honestly, women could be bitter. They could be spiteful, and like the same my body, my choice. Since she has to be the one to be pregnant, go through the pregnancy, she could say, "Well, hey, like I don't want to have the child." I'm like, I'm not gonna go through with it. So you can't force that. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I feel like at the end of the day, most a woman with that control, if the guy doesn't want to be with her, doesn't want to be a family or whatever it is, she may not go through with that. So he may not have that right. It may not be fair, but I feel like at the end of the day, like that's kind of how it'll turn out most of the time.
So if
Yeah.
she didn't have the ability to get an abortion, then how would the child go away? She would have to carry it, right?
Right.
Okay, so that would be an option, like with the abortion. I mean, unless she does it herself, people are creative. But
Mm-hmm.
if there was no option, then she would have to carry anyways. Nothing she could do about it unless she just couldn't, naturally carry the child.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's the only reason I asked the question I asked is to kind of point out the double standard that exists, that women would never speak to because it's not in their favor. But like you just said, if the woman ultimately decides, because she's the one that has the most risk, she's the one that ultimately will be able to decide. But when we turn that same argument around and say, women, when you guys have a child that you raised to be an adult, that's a cantankerous adult, and society says, hey, this child is out in the streets acting a fool, the first thing the mother says is, well, his father's not here. And we like, possession is 9/10 of the law, because you have the child in your possession for 18, 21, sometime even longer. And if they're not a productive citizen to society, you want to go all the way back to day before one and blame the daddy for not being there when you were there consciously and every day for 18 years. And this seed turned out to be a weed. It didn't grow into a flower. So we just want them to. I'm
There's
sorry,
some
you got.
points. No problem. No problem. Good evening to everyone. There's some points of your arguments that are logical, but we should also consider that it's a lot more helpful to have two household family and a support system, not necessarily just a man and a woman, but support system, and father figure and a mother figure make a big difference in people's lives. And understand that as people grow up, we're modeling behaviors we're seeing from our surroundings. And I'm not saying that women should only blame that, oh, the dad was not there, but that's a factor. Like, we can't deny that if we have good role models surrounding us, we're going to be better people in general.
Me personally, I think it needs to be some kind of penalty for irresponsible baby making. Like, at the end of the day, when we're having this conversation, it's all about one of the parents getting off scot-free. Either the woman have her way or the man gets his way. But at the end of the day, it's a baby that's being killed, or a baby that's being put in foster care, or a baby that's never going to have a life with their birth parents. So it's all a selfish act, if you ask me. And something needs to be done about the irresponsible behavior of the adults involved.
Right.
I'm surprised that AR would start this conversation with abortion instead of, how about relationships? How are people dealing with each other? How is parenting? But no, we just jump straight to abortion. Like, what happened to the rest of it? What happened to the important, before, when we're kids, our parenting, our parents, our support system? It's like he just slapped us in the face with this. That's what he does.
Sure did. Absolutely. Well, I mean, because it may be a little uncomfortable, but it may be uncomfortable to speak on it, but people don't feel uncomfortable when people online expressing, I just killed 3 of them, or they leave it, or I'm about to go do this Friday, man, and I should.
You're breaking up.
People
I
embracing
can't
this.
understand you.
So
Yeah.
why is it
Strong
uncomfortable to talk
coming.
about? So I mean, like, we can talk about we're going to talk about relationships and stuff, but people don't care, huh?
I didn't hear anything that you said.
said?
You were breaking up. You sounded like a robot.
I was breaking up. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Internet's pretty bad. No, I was saying that we could talk about the relationship and how things are going, but we have hours of those type of conversations, and women are not improving, men are not improving, but abortions are happening. As a matter of fact, actually paying women to take off and travel to another state, which is illegal, and to have an abortion, which is, at this point, I've gotten to the point where I used to be really, really against it. I'm just like, you know what, whatever. But at the same time, how can men start opting out? And then, of course, whenever they want, they could come, because when a mother give up her legal rights to a child, and maybe 5 years later, she has a right to opt back into that child's life. So I think a man should be able to come back and, hey, listen, man, you did all the hard work. He's 16 years old. I want to come back into his life. No back child support.
Well, listen.
Bella Reyes, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah,
How
I'm
you, AR?
here.
How you doing, everybody?
Hey,
What's
all
up,
right.
Bella? How you doing?
Good. Thank you. Good. Good to see everybody.
You're saying that if a man chooses not to be with this child and the mother decides to keep the child, but he knows the child exists, he doesn't have to pay a dime. That's what you're saying.
He shouldn't if he doesn't want to.
No.
If he gives up his rights.
If he gave up his rights. All right. That's different. Got you.
And he should have the option to come back whenever back into the child's life, and then get back out.
What happened? What happened?
A lot of drug addicts.
What happened during conception? Did he just get amnesia and forgot a condom, or what? What about that? Take responsibility, dude. You did that, woman. You did that, and it's not only for dudes. It's not only, I'm expressing for men's sake, but also for women. Like, we, as adults, we have to take responsibility. We know what happens. We know the birds and the bees. We understand it.
But we're past that thing about being adult, be responsible. No. We're past. People want to abort their children, and America gave them the right to abort their children. So since they have the right, and women are fully exercising that, I don't have an issue. It's legal. But at the same time, how can we make it just a little bit fair to men? 2 people made a child. The woman has the right to opt in and out. No penalty. They don't go to jail for child support because they are the primary caregiver whenever they decide. Men should too. He has drug issues. He has issues, and he's trying to get his life together. And right now, taking care of a child is, if you work at any clinic or anywhere, they will not say you're irresponsible for giving abortion or giving up your child. They won't say you're irresponsible. As a matter of fact, if a woman has a high income and give up her child, she's still not irresponsible. She's just going to something.
That's not the message I want to send out either.
Be a man.
But I am, and listen, I'll be honest with you. I've never thought about that side of it.
Yeah.
This is honestly the first time that I think about that. You guys bring up, what happened if the man doesn't want to? Why does he have to, I guess, pay child support? I guess I don't know. I come from a different world, you know, where I only have one kid for a reason. I can only afford one. And he's in college. But I mean, I don't want to say people are irresponsible. That's definitely not in my heart. But I do need for us as humans to you know, kind of consider the consequences of things. You know, we can't live in a closed world where, you know, we just running wild. That's just it's not safe, number one. And mentally too, just the trauma, you know, as a therapist, like just the trauma of the abortion, just to even step in a place like that with that intention, you know, and just the after effect. It's not only you know, just having the abortion, but there are some you know, internal and even futuristic consequences, trauma that's caused by it. And so it's just, you know, I wish that I can, you know, talk to the world and just, you know, we should have these conversations. They're uncomfortable, yes, but we need to have them.
Well, the only conversation I want to have is because women are able to do it. How can we make it just a little fair for men? That's it. We should be able to opt out. We should be able to opt out. That's all I want. You know,
Men
because
should be able to have kids, you know, give birth. Then that's what you're saying.
Men should be able to have 20 children and opt out of all 20, and come back when they're 18, and just say, "Hey, listen, I was going through some stuff. Listen, kids, I was going through something."
That's
Just like your mommy was going through something, and y'all forgave her. I was going through stuff. Hey, listen, man, I was on drugs. Drugs hyper your sexual, you know, your sexual activity. So I was high. I was on crack. Fucking, I didn't know what I was doing. But now I'm sober after 18 years. Just like you forgave your mama, she was a crackhead too. I'm back here.
And you keep using the word fair. You keep using the word fair, and there's nothing fair about the entire situation.
You just said that. You just said that.
Yeah, it's nothing
Did
fair
you
about
just say that?
20 kids.
And I'm gonna have to cut y'all off, because if somebody tells a single mother that life ain't fair, like I just said, possession is 9/10 of the law. So when that baby grows up and he commits a crime, and we say, Miss Johnson, your child committed a crime, the first thing she says is his father wasn't home. Y'all remember I just said that? And then she's gonna say his daddy ain't home. What if we say life ain't fair? So what? His daddy ain't home. Life ain't fair. What say y'all?
That's you know, I'm not one to just, you know, write off and use cliche of life ain't fair. What I am saying is that word fairness, let me explain what I mean.
Sure.
When I say that fairness, it's just so disconnected from the grandiosity of abortion. Like it doesn't even match my brain. And so when he kept saying it was causing kind of like, you know, some discontent in me. And so, you know, it is important that we're having these conversations to learn from other people, and even the feeling that what I'm feeling right now, the disconnect between those two, that I'm looking forward to exploring.
No doubt. And the only reason that I lean in is because, and this is what I'm gonna land my plane with. AR, we both have the baby, but who gets the maternity leave from work, and who's still expected to show up every day, even though we both having the same
Men
baby?
get paternal leave as well.
That's now.
That just happened about during COVID, and that's for certain states, you know.
And it
Talk to
isn't
her,
as
y'all.
long as maternity leave. It isn't as long as maternity leave either.
Talk to her, y'all.
So, you know, but
And that's the
Personally,
only thing I'm
I
saying.
think
It's not fair. It's not fair. But us as men are expected to take it on the chin and go, you know what, fellas, it's not fair. Man up, pull your bootstrap up, keep moving on. But if we, in turn, on the other side of the spectrum, said, baby girl, life ain't fair. You gotta keep it going. Oh, you're insensitive. You're mad at women. You don't like single mothers. None of those things are true. We're just pointing out real life. And if real life applies to everyone, everyone means women as well.
Bella Rings, you want to say something?
Yes, I think that if, you know, considering women do have the choice to continue the pregnancy or not, if the man does make it clear that he does not want to be a father, and if she does choose to have the baby, I do think that he should be able to essentially have, be able to sign a paper, a financial, abortion, right? I agree with that. Yes, you both lay down to have that child. Of course, each situation is different. It could be one night stand situation, could be relation. Well, if it's a relationship, that's a whole different thing. But yeah, I agree. I think that men should have the option to opt out, essentially financially, if he's made it clear to the woman, especially if they're not like in an actual relationship. It's just, why are you playing Russian roulette with your womb anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like, you chose to lay with this man. You chose to allow him to finish in you. And at the end of the day, if the consequence is he doesn't want to father that child, and if you choose to have the child, then you're going to have to be a woman, pull your big girl panties up, and it is what it is. It's crazy to me that women love to have so many options to opt in and opt out anytime they want or anytime they don't, when it's convenient and inconvenient, and men don't. We're all adults.
Billy, you funny.
Hi, Lady Di.
So how about we just talk about like how the baby even came? Because I feel like people are recklessly having sex and then
exactly
they expect nothing to come out of it. And in my opinion, if you want to know what I think, really, I think that it's always, to me, the woman's fault. Because even though, let's say the man was reckless and did what he did inside, right? But for her not to be responsible to be on whatever contraceptive for a woman and to make sure that she is doing her part in order to block that to even happen, that's not a man's fault. That's a woman's fault. If it's her body, her choice, then why is she choosing to let that happen then? Why is she accepting, if I'm going to recklessly have sex, then why are you recklessly not covering your situation, your womb? Because it's access to, but in order to get the access, you have to give it. But then it goes further. You have to, if you're not on birth control or you don't like it because it makes you feel a certain way, you get bumps, you get bloated, you get big, you get sick, right? Then you shouldn't be having sex then, unless you got somebody that you trust that much, which is usually a husband, and then you go further. But no one wants to talk about that part. We're just having sex. And I'm not talking about people who get in relationships and then they get married and then that doesn't work out. That's different. At least they tried. But the ones who are not even trying that aspect, but then get mad at a man because they don't want to be fully responsible, but you let him in. And he's reckless for doing what he did, but you're reckless for letting it happen. Because you could have been on birth control. This like what, 20, 30 types? And if not,
50.
That's
33.
In the day. That's just me. I'm a woman. I'm saying that. I've been on. Get real.
And I'm gonna add. You should know when you're ovulating. There's a short time frame in which a woman can conceive, and sperm stays within us up to 5 days. So if you're not conscious with your body and you're just busting it open for Pookie, Ray, Quan, Tyrone, and you don't realize that you're ovulating and you end up pregnant, it is irresponsible. Like, from the time you start your period, somebody should be teaching you, or you should be figure out, when can I conceive? When is my possible conception window? And again, if you're out here having unprotected sex and allowing men to finish in you recklessly, that is irresponsible. And therefore it is unfair and irresponsible and selfish of you to expect a man to be financially responsible for the child that you shouldn't have conceived to begin with due to your irresponsibility.
Wow. So you mean I didn't know that. So you mean to tell me my kids be in the swimming pool for 5 days, fighting each other and just going crazy like that?
It can stay up in there up to 5 days. So let's say
I don't need detail. I don't need detail.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, we're gonna get into the science, okay?
No,
because some women really don't know. Some women really don't know, but it's just like, at some point you have to stop blaming men for your issues or for your irresponsible decisions. Like, women love to say, well, I'm grown, I'm this, I'm that. But then when it comes to something like this, you want to act like a child, or you don't want to be called irresponsible, or you want someone to coddle you. No, ma'am, you're about to be a mother. Congratulations. Now figure out how to take care of your child.
Let's go deeper than that.
Nope, let's not go deeper than that, because I don't want people feeling like I bamboozled them. That's not why they was here, right? So I told people that's not what I told. I just wanted to get people a little heated. Wanted to see who I could get upset a little bit, But yeah, remember that first question wasn't about should women get abortion, should they not get. I'm a Christian. I think differently, but after seeing a few of the celebrities and a few people, I just say, you know what people do with it, that's on them. That's on them. Just don't try to raise my taxes to pay for your abortion. You can have a homemade one. I don't give a fuck. Don't inconvenience me and my family for your shit. That's it. Be an adult. You have women that complain about, birth control made me feel. Y'all be getting high. Y'all get high. Y'all smoke. Y'all drink. Come on. Birth control bothering you? All the liquor you drunk? That shit, it ran through the birth control. You don't even have that shit no more. So stop fucking complaining and be responsible. But that's my take on it. So I don't really care about that. I just wanted to know what's a way we can make it fair, whether you agree or disagree. Is there any way to make it fair towards men? And normally, most women can't figure out how to make it fair because he gotta be held accountable. But listen, right? What do y'all think? What do people do? What people shouldn't do before getting married? No, let me reword that because I thought I had it written down. What are some of the things that people do during dating? During dating, damn, I have my whole thing together. Hold on one second. So, what are in relationships? Okay, so what do women do in relationships that makes a man think he doesn't have to marry her? Example, she's cooking for him during dating. He's like, shit, it's like I'm married. I ain't got to propose to her.
No, I don't believe that.
What's some of the things women be doing? That's like, it's practical. Like y'all married.
They have to eat. That's simple. I'm just saying, if y'all want to cook for your man when you dating, I don't see how a man would say, I'm not going to marry her because she giving me what I'm going to get when I'm married. That's food.
I'm married. I'm a man.
I'm married too. I get you. But I'm
saying. No, I said I'm a man.
Oh, you're a man. That's what you think.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
I'm a man.
Gotcha.
I'm a man.
So you're saying
my thing is pretty much anything that a woman does during the dating phase can be translated in a man's mind to, well, she's giving it to me now, then why should I marry her? At the end of the day, we all know that men hold access to marriage ultimately. So if the man if she is wife material, and if he is marriage minded, and if she's cooking, cleaning, whatever, likely he's going to marry her. I mean, I was doing the marriage things. I mean, whatever. I mean, I would say it's an audition. It's you showing this man that you can actually be a wife, in my opinion. I did wife things when I was dating my husband, but at the end of the day, my husband made it clear that it was us and us only, and that he had a goal toward marriage. If you're doing those things for the wrong man, then yeah, anytime a woman would get upset, like, oh, I was doing things for him, and it's ultimately up to the man. So check your vetting process, ask the right questions, don't, if you are having sex with this man, don't have those blinders on, so much so to the point where you're ignoring the red flags and the fact that he's playing you, or women calling him at all, different times of the day. A lot of times women just choose to ignore the red flags, and then they wake up 5 years later and be like, why don't I have a ring? Sis, he told you he wasn't going to marry you. You just ignored the signs 1 through 20.
What do you think?
So if there's different type of men that you're talking about, if a woman decides to what Bella used, audition to show that she's a wife, and a man looks at that and is like, you know what, I don't know, because she's given up everything. So are you guys thinking like, how am I special to her? Is she doing this for somebody else? Is that what guys are thinking?
Well, a lot of guys you hear often, most men say that we're living together or whatever case would be. If we get like Oprah, right? She said it as well. If we get married, that's just gonna change. It's gonna mess it up. But y'all practically married. Which, you know, with us guys, when you're doing stuff that a wife would do, it's like, why am I rushing? We're already fucking. Like, what's
Absolutely. We getting all of the milk and don't have to buy the cow. I'll jump in. I think that comfortability, that, you know, you are now allowed to take the seatbelt off type of a laissez-faire attitude she allows a man to have, so that he doesn't feel he has to move the barometer, has to push the bar. He doesn't have to put a ring on her finger. She doesn't demand it. She doesn't require it. And, you know, as long as we're able to, again, move about the cabin freely, that's exactly, you know, to me, the only analogy that I equate, because we get on the plane and we have a certain time that we have to wait. But when they say, you know, take that seatbelt off, you can now move around. We on our phone, we walking back and forth to the bathroom. We all relaxed. And I think people get like that in their relationship. They take that seatbelt sign come on and they are just sitting on the couch. They playing the game, belly getting big, boy or girl, you choose, but nobody's really, you know, speaking to anybody's love language. Nobody cares about their appearance. There's no new underwear, little things like that. You just get on autopilot and just keep floating, thinking that the relationship is just gonna fester because we are these magnificent creatures that our grandmothers told us that we were, but we're not. We're individuals. We're regular people. We have to be a mirror of what we want that other, you know, reflection in our relationship to be. And hopefully we can be two amazing individuals and come together and be a collective great couple.
I loved how you said, sir, if she doesn't demand and require it. Those are two key words: demand and require. So if you're doing all those things for a man, but you're not demanding and requiring marriage, if you two aren't having these conversations, good luck with getting that ring. Because men get married for children. So if you're not making it clear that, you know, this is what you want, he's gonna definitely be comfortable. But like I said, he said, I'm not gonna mess up your name this time. He said, you said demand and require, and I just wanted to emphasize those two words that you used.
Thank you, Bella. I love you. Keep doing what you do.
What about you, Kim? What do you? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Roberto. No, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. He said. Yeah, I agree with Mr. He said. The women have to demand a marriage. I would advise to do it before the sex. This is where the breakdown is. We have to get back to the way God intended, and once we do that, everything will work out fine. Just a lot of irresponsible, reckless. We can't do it this way. Women, before you give up the goods, require marriage, and the men will fall in line. We're going to do what we're allowed to. We've always worked that way. If we could sleep with you in a doghouse, we would. If you demand a luxury hotel, we'll find a way to make it happen. So just up your standards and everything to fall into place. It's not hard.
What do you think, Kim? Do you think there's some things that women are doing that's like making men?
Yeah. Not to really that specifically, but just on the topic, it's like, is marriage really the goal anymore? Anyway, like, is there like people get married? Is it for love? Is it more of like a financial thing? Is it we're better together than separate? I'm thinking more along that lines, because maybe what's the reasons not married? Not to say, well, she's not doing that, but it's goal anyway for everyone. Are we just happy where we at, cohabitating? That's is it the goal? Why are people getting married, for love? Do people still get married for love anymore? You're ready, everything's out there, you had sex, you had the kids, you got the car, the house. So, but for the legal, for the paperwork, for what's the reason why people still get married? Have to? For religious. You already skipped the steps. You already had sex. You already had kids. You put the cart before the horse. Why are we getting married? Point.
To avoid being a baby mother.
Just.
I mean,
but
so
you're a baby mother, so you can be a baby mother, then a wife.
I mean, well, why would a man marry you if he already has his legacy? I mean, you already created that. You're already giving him that. A woman, for most men, the only thing that most women can actually offer is not your company. Because I like to do sports, you can't play sports. I like to do this and that, or you like to do this and that. I'm not into that shit. So it's not really the company. I don't know how to say this in a more elegant way. Your vagina and your womb, your body. Let's just say your body. That's why I don't believe women should be displaying themselves on, online like that. But that's their choice. But your womb, giving me a child, and your body. Once that's already given, you're just another one of those things I do on the weekend. You're not special,
right?
Maybe them guys in your DM will make you feel special every morning because they're trying to get what I got, but. I mean, what do you think, Kim? Do you think that women are offering a little bit too much before marriage?
Of course. Accessible, of course. Yeah.
Fiora, Melissa, what do you think?
I was wondering when you want to call me. So I'm not here to tell anyone how to live their lives. I'm an imperfect human being living on this earth, trying to figure it out as well. I've made my share of mistakes in life, right? But one thing that I do talk to my clients about is setting expectations. We hear a lot about situationships, and a lot of people come out of situationships really hurt, really bruised. But one thing that I have people consider, and they'll come to me and they'll say, what kind of situationship am I in? And I'm like, it's whatever you guys decide. I'm not like, a fortune teller to tell you what situation you are. But one thing that I say and that I stress is that setting expectation, maybe, I don't know, maybe the woman is okay with giving everything and not getting married. I don't know. I don't live her life or his life. And maybe they're okay with that. And then boundaries. If it's that you want a long-term relationship, if you want marriage, then you've got to set some boundaries for yourself. Maybe the overextending yourself, and that's something that I see in people that have experienced different types of trauma. We overgive. Sometimes we even overshare. And that in itself is detrimental for people. So it's setting expectation, sit with yourself, understand what you want, talk to yourself. Do I want a long-term relationship? Do I just want a short-term relationship? Am I okay with this situation? And then setting boundaries. But that's my take.
Well, for you, Melissa, this is a situation where a woman wants to get married. A lot of women want to get married, right? Even though I know they mostly celebrate the baby shower because they don't really expect a man to propose to them. Why is that though? Because it was a baby shower before the marriage. But what do you think? Do you think that what are some things that you believe women shouldn't be doing or not as much before marriage that's going to make a man actually view marriage as important?
You are never going to get from me in any of our conversations of what I believe a woman should do. You will get what I would do. But I'm definitely not here to tell people what to do. That's just not what I do,
Well, this is not one of your therapy sessions. This is, we're going to,
this is how I live my life. What, you trying to change me? It's not going to happen.
No, I'm not trying to change. I'm not trying to change you, but like you say, you made a lot of mistakes, right? So you're not going to tell us what you'll do because then it'll be wrong. Because you said you made mistakes, right? I made mistakes
Of
too.
course.
And I'm not on here being like I'm perfect. I'm just a man. And I used to be a dog, and I know how dogs operate as far as in a man. If you're doing certain things, why would I marry you? I have everything I want.
Situation. AR, I've been in that situation where I've overgave.
Like
And
what?
I had to sit with myself, and I'm like, why am I overextending myself and not getting the same in return? What is going on with me? And of course, I had to reevaluate my own traumas, my own issues, and the things that I needed to heal inside. And so that gave me, in healing, it gave me peace. But yeah, I've been in that situation where
You haven't
I
named
doing
something
everything.
though. You gotta name something. What do you believe women shouldn't be doing as much, or you didn't name an actual thing?
What I shouldn't have been doing.
Not you.
I can say
No,
that.
it's not okay. Okay, so
Which
what you
was
shouldn't have been.
I think I overextended myself. Yeah, I was doing the cooking. Yeah, I was doing the cleaning. Yes, I was doing the family thing, but I wasn't getting the same in return, and so I suffered.
Okay. And this is this little segment right here is actually, it's not putting down women. It's actually get on the guys, because I believe we get too much up front. We get way too much up front, and then after that, it's like we don't have to do much. What do you think, Roberto? Did you speak on this already?
A little bit, but I want to ask Ms. Johnson. Do you ever give women advice as far as like how to do better? Do you ever do that?
I know where this is going. I give advice, absolutely. One thing that we do in counseling is outweigh options. Well, if you do this, you realize that this may happen. If you do that, and then it's up to the person to decide whether man or woman that I'm talking to. But that's what I do.
Because I noticed this is mostly like a woman thing where they don't really want to like tell people what's better for them, because they've been through things that, who am I to speak on this? But as men growing up, we've always had people to try to tell us to do better. We've always had people hold us accountable, regardless if they're perfect or not. People will make mistakes, come tell a man, hey, don't do what I did. Do something different. And I think women don't do that enough with other women. And I think that's why women are getting worse. And I really feel like the older women should really put their foot down and really start, taking accountability and just bring some kind of shame back into the behavior, because we definitely get shamed for our behavior. And we need the women to step up too. This is really why it's a strong lag with women nowadays, as opposed to men. Now you're seeing men complain more about the behavior of women. It's bad when men, who are usually the most sexually aggressive being on the planet, has to complain about the sexual aggressiveness of the woman. That's how you know it's bad. So we really need the women to kind of stop with the whole I don't want to judge people, and really just like, hey, stop, hold up.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Roberto 100%, only because, like we say as people, I made some mistakes. I did some things, and you walked off the cliff. And that's exactly why you should turn around and say, hey, young people, do not walk off this cliff. But it seems like modern women particularly are like, yeah, you can walk off the cliff. You'll be all right. And, who knows what's going to happen? It might be marshmallows down there at the bottom. You never know, because, everybody's different, and you don't know what's going to be down there for you, because what's going to be down there for you is not going to be down there for me. And it's just all enabling from, I'm going to be honest with you. If I was one of your clients, I would turn around and I would not come back. With the situationships, that's probably the first thing that's wrong, because we got to be able to define something. Are we in a relationship? Are we boyfriend and girlfriend? Are we fiance? Are we man and wife? or we just, bruh and just going by, the seat of our pants, playing it ear by ear. And that's how these situationships don't become fruitful relationships and marriages, because they don't even have a healthy foundation from the beginning. And expectations just lead to letdowns. I don't think anybody has the right to expect anything from me. Maybe a coach, maybe a professor, but these are things that I sign up for. And I pledge my allegiance to a higher authority and, hopes for a championship or hopes for a degree. But you can expect all you want. That don't mean you're going to get anything. And if it don't live to your expectations, what happens then? And if your expectations change, what happens then? So, I absolutely hear that, you don't want to put anybody in a box and you don't want to make anybody feel bad. But like the brother said, we need to have some realistic talk. When is the grown-up talk going to happen? When does the accountability come out? When does the retrospect happen? And shame is not a bad thing. Some people get to it very nice. I could say, you should change your ways, and I'm being very politically correct about it. And you could go home and say, yeah, Mr. He said was very nice the way he put that. Maybe I should change my ways. You still got to shame, because you got to change your ways. You know what you was doing wasn't right. Or I could say, yo, stupid, change your ways. You ain't acting right. Yeah, you didn't feel good. It didn't taste like strawberry medicine when it went down, but you got to shame the same way. So we still get to the same destination, even though we take different routes. And I am not, apologetic about taking the route of wake your silly ass up, because the sophistication you show in your foreign car and in your red bottoms and in your trips that you catch instead of feelings and all of this, show the same sophistication in reading a book, having some emotional intelligence, doing some vetting, having some judgment of character. So you can't pick and choose these spots when you want to be this, amazing person of grandiose nature in which you speak of yourself, with your career and your degree and your car and your house. But when it comes to picking the person that you had a baby by, that blanked inside of you, I was young and, I made some mistakes. I call cap.
Okay. I want to say something before I leave in a few minutes. I'm sorry, you guys. This is a great conversation. As far as should women do, let's say, wifely duties before they get married, I think in today's time, in order to, I guess, demand or request or suggest, hey, these are the things that I want as a woman. I want to be a wife. I'm not talking about the women who don't, because there are women here that simply do not. But the ones who are, desperately wanting that ring and that husband, the kids, then you shouldn't be living with a man unless you're at least engaged, right? Engaged to be married, maybe. Because at least at that point, you guys have invested into each other, and he invested into your ring on your hand, and you guys are planning a wedding, literally. Then maybe you can move in and maybe practice that at that point. That will be a little bit safer than just jumping right in to a house and splitting bills and all this type of stuff, having kids. That's not going to have a man want to do anything, because you guys are already living house, playing house. And as far as the Ms. Johnson, I think as a counselor, you guys are restricted not to do or say certain things in your profession because you went to school. So I understand why you are doing that, because you're licensed in that way where you could lose probably your license, right, for suggesting certain things. So out of respect, that is, I'm pretty sure why she is doing that. If it was the other way around and she probably was just like a coach and, in the other sector, then she could probably say it will be different. So for me, I'm a coach. I'm a wife coach. So I can say certain things that maybe Ms. Johnson cannot say. And then if it becomes too serious, then you refer them out to a professional like psychiatrist and stuff in that way. So I think people need to understand the difference between the two, and then decide as a person, who would you rather get advice from, like a counselor or a coach, because it's two different things. What do you feel you're going to get out of it? You have to know the difference. You have to educate yourself before you consider to even have a relationship, because there are people out here to help. It's just that people are not inquiring for it. And then if they are inquiring for it, it's from the wrong people. they're not even asking people like Ms. Johnson, or let's say someone like me, right? Or someone who else on this panel that may have some really, sound advice. They're asking individuals who don't know a damn thing. Their results have, it shows. And then that's a cycle of nonsense happening over and over again. So I think we as people just need to be better educated and understanding who to ask for, or just look around you, look at your surroundings and say, hey, I don't want to be this way, because look, when I see that, that's bad. I think I would probably, have an emotional attack if I had that. Like, look at it as serious. I don't see people looking at their life as serious. They're looking at it as a game and thinking they're having all these chances, and then they affect people while they're doing that. So taking your life a little bit serious is what I think that we as people should be doing.
Okay, Lady DY, before you go, and then after this, Bella Ring is gonna do her thing. But before you head out, I do want to do a little role playing, because I'm really big on. I believe most people can't comprehend well. Like when a man tells a woman something, she'll do something. It's like whatever he says, it come out as be something completely different. So, and when a woman tell a man, he didn't understand it either, or he thought he did. So, this is what I want you to do, brother. He said, "You up?"
You know it, man.
All right. So, Lady DY, this was happening, right? So, brother, he said, "Is your husband? He don't make enough money. You're a stay-at-home mom. Y'all got 3 kids. You stay at home. You're not going to make no more income. You're not going to get a job on Amazon. You're not going to go out and hustle. You're a stay-at-home mom. He makes the average black man income $47,000 a year with benefits, and he's good. But obviously, which is a very common reason why women file for divorce. 70% of women file for divorce that are married, and if they're educated, it goes up to 90%. And within the black community, it's even higher. So, which is another reason why, that's another thing, right? So communicate to him. He's satisfied. But communicate to him. Y'all got to come to a compromise and communicate with love. Don't be throwing shit at him. Good.
So we're talking about obviously finances. So
Yes.
there's really, we can have a conversation, but as a woman, especially if I'm at the house, I have all access to research for better financial stability. So I would just take that upon myself to look, learn, figure out a plan, a couple of them, and then bring these different ideas to him.
No, that's not the situation. Nope.
Okay.
That's probably something you would do. But no, right now, your husband doesn't make enough money. You got 3 kids, you're a stay-at-home mom, and he's satisfied. He does not want to improve himself. He's fine where he's making. But that's not going to pay for college. That's not going to do anything. So how would you communicate that to him?
I will let him know that.
No, talk to him. He's right there.
Oh,
your husband's right
Right.
there.
Hey, baby girl. Hey, what's up? What's up?
So do you want the kids to go to college?
I do, of course. You know that.
Okay, great. So let's say Johnny, he wants to become a doctor. What do you think? How do you think we're going to be able, or how is he going to be able to pay for his college?
That's a great question. I was giving thought to that, and I was figuring that maybe if he keeps, going in this science engineering project that he's in and does well, hopefully he can gear towards some sort of a STEM scholarship and, write a couple of essays and maybe get some scholarships for being left-handed or something like that, being light-skinned. I think he can get one for being light-skinned. So I was just looking into those different type of things. I don't really want to take on the extra hours and all of the extra responsibility at work. They're already killing me. I just don't see it being a good look, baby girl.
So, but one of our other kids, they're not that bright, right? They're not so much. We have to provide tutoring and all of these situations where I don't know if Rebecca is going to be able to get that scholarship, because she requires a lot more time and she's just not getting it. So for someone like our other kid that's not that bright, but she may be bright later, she might not get that opportunity to get a scholarship. So, but she wants to be a nurse. She talks about it. So what should we do with her?
I mean, I understand that. That's a great point. That's a great point, and I see what you're saying. But do you see any sort of a middle where I don't have to take on as much hours? Is it some sort of a project that maybe we can take on together, or start a business, or what do you see as a solution that, you know, maybe we can meet somewhere without it being so physically demanding on me?
Yeah, so I know, so we have 3 kids, right? Only one of them, I believe, might not have the opportunity. So that's less working hours for us, right? So we can probably create something like a small business, you know, to provide that stability and financial gain for our daughter. And we could try something, but we got to start now, because if we wait until she's like 16, it might not work. You know how businesses come and go, they fail, things work, things don't. So we got to start now because she's 5. Would you be open to do that?
Yeah, definitely. That's a great idea. Great idea. Maybe we focus on getting some material and focus on our direction and go from there. But thank you for the suggestion and being open to giving me that availability. Like I said, it's just demanding on me physically, and I appreciate you listening to me.
Damn, y'all handle that real like real adults. I'm jealous.
That's how you do it.
Nah, that's it.
AR. So this is
I
a
appreciate
good
you.
lesson for whoever needs that.
Yeah, man. You know, but listen, I appreciate you coming on. You know, I'll make sure I include everyone in the group chat so everyone can network or whatever they want to do with each other, and we'll go from there. Okay. So whenever you're ready to drop off, you just drop off.
All right. Thank you guys. I'll see you next time.
All right, now.
All right, take
Good
care.
one.
Ashley, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you all?
Doing good. I gotta do one more like
Hi.
that, okay? Bella rings, are you ready? You up?
Okay.
Roberto, you good?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Roberto, this is the situation. She's getting fat. She's getting fat. You're starting not to be attracted to her, right? So communicate that with her, and she has to she has to receive it. That's a very common thing. People just start looking different after a while. I'm pretty sure I don't look the same. I don't look the same as I did 9 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But you ready, Roberto? All right, so
Yeah.
get you here. All right, Roberto, speak to her. You don't forget hard, bro. It's like shit ain't, you know, it's not looking good. All right, got it.
Hey, babe, I think we need to start hitting the gym together.
Why?
You know, we just, we getting older now. We need to start focusing on our health a little more. And I think we just need to, hit the gym together, do something together. What do you think
Okay.
about that?
Okay. That's done.
Easy.
Insane.
Easy peasy,
Yeah.
Ava.
That's easy for me.
But you never.
Okay, Bella rings real quick. Bella rings real quick. You don't want to go to the gym.
Okay. But I'm really intimidated by the gym. It's always like super skinny girls, and I just feel like I'm gonna be looked at, kind of crazy. So I'm really not comfortable with that, honey.
Okay, so what will it take for us to do some kind of exercise together? Something that'll
we
get us
have to
going to the
exercise?
healthy way. Say again?
We have to exercise? Like why?
We have to because it's healthier for both of us. I need to get in shape, and I would like for you to do that with me.
Well, how about you start, and then I'll follow. I'll follow you after. I just want you to get a head start because I'm just not feeling it right now. I just think I'm just gonna be tired, and it's just not sitting in my spirit right.
Well, you're tired because you're not exercising. That's why you're tired. So look here, I'm gonna get it started. And hopefully you will follow me and we will do this together. Because I really need a partner. I need you to help me with this, and hopefully we can do it together. That's what I really want.
What's the compromise?
How about we start walking first? I'll walk with you, and then as time goes on, we can bump it up. I
Yeah,
want you to take lead on the exercise part and I'll just follow.
Yeah, whatever it takes. I just need you.
That
with
was
me,
really
that's all.
good.
Yeah.
That was really
It's that
good. That was
simple.
gentle. Yeah, that was gentle.
Yo, that was dope.
And he
That was
went
dope.
like, baby, you fat. Yeah. That was really good. Good job.
But do
Well, see,
y'all
that's
think that's how?
See, that's the smart way. The man have to take the accountability and act like it's for him, and then you slide her in there. That's the smart way.
Hey, he nicer than me because I'd have came through like, nah, look, hey, you putting on a few, we got to fix that, man. I'm going to be attracted to you.
Well, yeah, you know. So, I mean, I think that I think that was dope. Roberto started, but you was smart. Get a head start. You told to get a head start.
Yeah, practice what you preach, right? Practice what you
Right.
preach, right? Yeah.
Yep. You be the example.
All right, so Bella Reigns, what's your first question? You can ask everybody.
All right, everybody. So my question is, do you think modern women have what it takes to be a proper wife to a masculine man? Why or why not? And I'm going to start with Mr. He Said.
My answer is going to be no. Only because masculinity has a toxic title that goes along with it. Hold on, I think I hear a little bit of an echo. I'll be right back. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, just the phrase toxic masculinity is just, you know, the classic confident, intuitive, resourceful, that, you know, that type of a man is not accepted in society anymore because of maybe his demeanor, the way he's perceived. So I don't think that it can exist because of the level of cooperation that it requires to coexist with a man of that aptitude. It is going to be a little hard for a modern woman. So I'm going to go with no. That's my final answer.
Okay. And I'm gonna go to the next person. I'm gonna say I don't think toxic and masculinity goes together. I just think women don't like the things that masculinity brings as far as accountability and order. I don't see masculinity as toxic at all. So that's my 2 cents. Miss Johnson, go ahead.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Do you think modern women have what it takes to be a proper wife to a masculine man? Why or why not?
Once again, I'm going to put it on me. Do I think that I do have it? Absolutely. You know, I've been a single mom. I know what it's like. I've been married too. And, you know, I've had to learn from, you know, my mistakes, you know, heal myself, the parts that needed to be healed, and keep it going.
Okay. So you're saying no or yes? You're saying...
I'm saying yes for myself, yes.
Okay, you're saying yes, you think you have what it takes to be a proper wife to a masculine man.
I do.
Okay. Okay. How about you, Miss Ashley?
Well, in the sense of the word or the term, as it's used by a lot of men, I would say no. A lot of women haven't learned to be wives. They haven't seen wives. They haven't seen healthy marriages. So I would say no. I would say not as, you know, not in the ways that you guys describe modern women. I would say that if you're talking about, like, you know, what we often see like in entertainment, on social media, I would say no. Are there women who, if you think modern just means a woman who lives at this day and age, who's...
Yes. that's what I'm referring to, because I would consider myself a modern woman. I'm married. We have traditional values in our home, and I'm a traditional woman, but I'm still modern. So yes, ma'am. In today's age,
Well, I think some do. I would say most don't.
okay, okay, good answer. Because you said girls aren't taught to be wives. They don't see wives. They aren't raised by wives. Okay, good answer. How about you, Rick?
My bad, I forgot. I was muted. No, I don't believe. I believe there's probably only like 5% of women on the planet that can deal with me, and that's because not just about me being demanding, but I have expectations that not anybody can just be here and receive what they're gonna get. The level of protection I'm gonna give them, a level of love, care, they're not worth it, and that's not really not to knock anybody. It's just protection comes with authority and control. And if you can't be controlled, if you can't be commanded, ordered around, I can't deal with you, because it means I can't make sure you're safe, because you ain't gonna do what I have to tell you. Most women don't.
But Rick's submission is slavery.
Yeah,
what you
exactly.
mean?
Exactly. That's how they do it. Like, it's slavery. As soon as I hear it's slavery, I already know. Yep, you're not fit. You can't even deal with me, because you throwing that word around, making it seem like a bad thing that I care about you. Like, oh my gosh, you got shackles on me. Well, okay. Well, if it's a bad thing, then it's a bad thing for you to even be in a relationship with somebody. So, yeah, man. No, I don't think women are fit for it at all. Not today's women. And really, yeah, they're not fit. It's just at the end of the day, because it's too many, like they say, and I don't want to repeat the talking points, but you know how they say, like, it's too many comforts women have today where they don't feel like they need a man physically, nor do they feel like they need a man. Really, if you ask women what they want, they don't say, I want a man that's got good character, that has good values, it's going to be a good father. You never hear that shit. The only thing you hear is how much money he got, what can he do for me, what's his shoe size, and, goofy stuff that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. So, it is what it is.
Okay, great point. And I like to go back to what Miss Ashley said. She said women don't know how to be wives, they aren't taught how to be wives, and they aren't raised by wives. But there's so much technology and resources out here, ladies, that you can use in order to learn how to be feminine, how to become a wife. And no, submission is not slavery, ladies. There is power in submission. When a woman flows within her femininity and she is with a masculine man, in return, he provides so much more than just his pocket. He provides, as Rick mentioned, security. He provides provision. He provides comfort within that relationship. But how about you, Roberto? Do you think that modern women have what it takes to be a proper wife to a masculine man? Why or why not?
No, they don't, because modern women are very selfish. In order to be a modern woman, you have to be selfish. As you can see, usually with modern women, their career comes first. Everything comes first. Not even childbirth comes first. Most of the modern women that you see usually have no children. You can see it even with our Black celebrities, they have no children. Whenever a woman becomes very ambitious, the further away she comes from her role as far as God intended. So they can't be a proper wife, because being a wife means being unselfish, sacrificing, putting your family before you. So they can't do it.
Okay. I'd like to emphasize a word that you used, Roberto: selfish. I'd like to not necessarily argue, but for lack of a better term, I like to argue that it is in a woman's feminine nature to be selfish. So with that, how can a man deal with a woman's natural selfishness, although she may be feminine? She just needs to work on that particular thing in her character and in her nature.
You kind of have to be a little bit beta, and and you kind of have to let them have their way. Modern women can be wise, but they have to make a little adjustment with the attitude.
Boom.
Because it's a lot of beta men out here that's willing to make them wives, but that instinct of them wanting an alpha male kicks in, but the two don't mix at all. So this is where they clash at. So if women would kind of accept the simps and the beta males as they come, the modern women could actually have a life with them because they're more compatible.
Okay. Those roles within the household.
Yeah, they could have a marriage with those guys, but if they want an alpha male, it's not going to mix. Somebody's going to have to compromise. So,
okay, how about you, sir, the host? AR, what do you think?
I think you can say it's natural for them to be selfish until they become a mother, right? Because then the nurturing is supposed to kick in. Even during today's time, naturally that's supposed to kick in. And if she wants to be married, because she's married. I mean, if she wants to get married, most men are not going to. Any man with common sense won't propose to a woman that is about her. But I think a modern woman does have what it takes to be married, but for the most part, the issue is that they don't want to marry a modern man. They don't want a man that is consistently on his phone, having access to all these women. I'm not saying sexual, but just access to a lot of different women, roaming free, stuff like that. And they want to be like that, but they don't want that from their. They don't want that, and just like even a modern man, he doesn't, for the most part, he doesn't want his woman to be on there. For some reason, all these women, they ass is out every picture. Like they'll show their ass in the gym and put a motivational quote. So, but I think that they want to live the lifestyle of marriage, but the issue is that their life is consistently given into a lot of temptation. Me as a married man, I can't live a lifestyle of being around too much temptation. That's all they do is just, your ass is supposed to be, aren't you a woman? Aren't you married? Your ass is supposed to be home. What you not home for? I'm not saying all the time, but damn, when do the kids eat? Golly. So that's why I think they can be, but if they'll be more successful at marriage if they would accept a modern man. A modern man doesn't know how to change a tire. Okay, he has roadside assistance for that. So that's what I think.
Okay. My answer is more so along the lines. See, I say yes, but also on the flip side of that coin is what Ashley said. A lot of women aren't taught because they're raised by women who aren't wives, or they're raised also by masculine women. In this case, it's typically the single mother. But I do think modern women have what it takes if they're willing to compromise, because a lot of them want the quote unquote traditional man, based on what we've said earlier, provide, protect, all this and all that, but they're not willing to compromise for that masculine man. They're not willing to enter under the authority and respect that man, that masculine man. So I think modern women can be wives and have what it takes, but they have to be willing to adjust to that man's system and order. Any last thoughts before I move on to the next question? All right, let's keep going. So according to the United States Census Bureau, among young adults, that being 18 to 24, cohabitation is up and marriage is down. Do you think today's young couples fear marriage, or do they think or they don't think it makes sense in today's socioeconomic climate? I say again, do you think today's young couples fear marriage, or they don't think it makes sense in today's socioeconomic climate? I will start with you, Roberto.
Yes, I don't necessarily think they fear it. I don't even think they even think about the other thing. I think these kids just want to be sexually free. I think the women want to be sexually free. The young kids, the young boys want notches on their belt. If any young lady wants to get married, they need to consider older men, because that's what older men are at. Young boys, they're not ready yet, and because they don't have many fathers in the homes nowadays, they're very late to becoming men. They usually don't become men until after 35. So I don't think it's either one of those. I think they just want to be sexually free. That's it.
Okay, I think that is a very, very good perspective from a more wise man. I like that. How about you, Mr. He said?
That's a dope question. My answer is gonna be a little different. They probably will give you the second answer, that it doesn't make sense in this socio-economical world that we live in. But the reason they give you that is because honestly, it's the first answer. They scared. I say it all the time. It's self-preservation. It's the first rule of life, is to take care of yourself. And I don't think they have what it takes or understand what it takes to grow and have a union with someone for 30, 40, 50, 60 years. And one of you, no longer continue to be here. And the other person has to continue to walk strong in the legacy that you built, continue to raise the kids, continue to, again, just live out this legacy. I don't think they're built for that. They come up with all the reasons why it's not acceptable and palatable for them, from the struggle love to, I heard somebody on the panel say today, like what really does it mean? But I would ask DMX girlfriend that. I would ask, PNB Rock's girlfriend that it's not about the paper per se. It's about the security that I provide. And that's what these people don't understand. It's not about love and happy. It's about honor, duty, and responsibility. And Mrs. Harris has a peace of mind that if Mr. Harris no longer, God forbid, is not here, we don't got to go through who's getting what and let's call this person and that. No, Mrs. Harris has all the say so. You got to go through Mrs. Harris to do whatever. She's the best person. She's my lawyer, not a legal aid, a lawyer. She's going to ask all the right questions. She's going to make all the right objections. She's not signing a DNR. She's asking the doctor questions and, probing questions and follow-up questions. A girlfriend ain't doing that. A girlfriend is, you had a heart attack. She going in your safe. She taking whatever you got in there and she's on to AR. So she could do the same thing over again, wash, rinse, and repeat. They don't even understand that it's a lack of, discipline. It's a lack of maturity when you can just walk out the door and say, this is over. I'm out of here. It's over. There's no recourse. There's no consequence. It's just over. I quit you. But we can't do that. We got to be separated for a year. We got to give the judge a legitimate reason. And then we can go on and talk about divorce. So those measurements put in place to make her walk at ease, to let those questions for her and my children to know what happens to the finances and things and so on after the fact, even though some people are just, hang their hat on, okay, so you guys are planning for the worst. But again, it's not about that. It's about the security and how she can walk as an honorable woman. That's why it's called making an honest woman out of somebody, because she can walk now as an honest woman, knowing things are set in place and taken care of in case things happen. And I think that's the difference. And I think they are absolutely scared of that. That takes commitment, dedication, and a lot of other mature words that they're not ready for.
That was put excellently. I'm not going to add anything to that. Thank you, sir. But I do want to point out something that Roberto said. He had said something about dating or being with a man who is older, because typically older men are ready for marriage. And I agree. My husband is 8 years my senior, not that much older, but that's definitely something I ran into myself personally, and the data does actually back that up. Based on the data, it's the younger people, they basically would cohabitate and basically never get married. But the older the age groups get, they'll basically say, yeah, I'll cohabitate, but we'll eventually get married. So I can definitely agree with what Roberto said for sure. How about you, Miss Ashley? What's my question? Do you think today's young couples fear marriage, or do you think they think it doesn't make sense in today's socioeconomic climate?
It's hard for me to say. I'm not really sure. I wonder myself. But I think that just from their actions, they probably don't value marriage. I think that we expect them to value something or want them to value something that they just haven't been taught to value. You know, mom was single, you know, dad wasn't around. They didn't see marriages, people working together. And now I think that a lot of young people, like older people, are lustful. You know, they're thinking about sex and they're not thinking about family and love and marriage. And so they can get all of that. They can get the lust and the sex without being married. So I just don't think they value it. I can't say they're scared of it. I don't think they value it enough or desire it enough to be scared of it. I'm not quite sure. As far as men and women and like when they should marry, I think over here is the only culture where we say men should wait until they're like in their mid-30s. Other cultures don't do that. Like Indian culture doesn't do that. Middle Eastern culture doesn't do that. You usually have a few years between the husband and wife, but we're really the only ones that do that. You know, teach the girls one thing and the boys, oh, wait until you're 35. If you study Indian culture, if you study Middle Eastern culture, their men get married young, and the wife and the husband, no matter how young they are, it's the truth. It's the truth. No matter how young they are, they just fight through the hard times. They have growing pains, as people used to say. And they get through it, but they also have support. They have a culture that shuns divorce, you know, so they have more incentive and support and more of a foundation to keep going, even though they were very, very young.
Yeah. I did want to say something now.
Yes, sir.
Those type of cultures you name, a lot of those guys in their 30s marrying just, and I'm going to be nice people on this panel, just barely 18. Woman.
I think that was like just long ago, though. Even in the Americas, that used to happen. But marriage.
I mean, in India, how much does a house cost in India? 2 cents, $1 American dollar. So that's probably like you know, that's probably
well, you're talking about from a financial standpoint. Like, yeah, over here it's harder for men.
Men can't provide. The average black man makes $47,000 a year. He can't afford it. He's barely taking care of himself.
Yeah, I'm more so talking about the mental and emotional readiness of marriage. That's what I'm talking about. Obviously, like our culture and our society, our government, you know, makes it very difficult for the average young man to provide and be ready financially for a family. I'm more so meant like based on how you were raised. It's so different like in other cultures, like gypsy culture, like they actually live with the groom's or the husband's family for about 3 years before they even go out on their own. And so like they get more support and foundation. Like we don't get that, you know?
Not only that, but Indians and Middle Eastern, they don't move out on their own. They're 30, they're with their family. It's like they got great grandma, grandma, aunt, cousin, and then the wife and husband, they're all up in
Yep.
there, same
Yeah.
house. And then when they become that financial, I mean, when it gets to a point where it's just like, okay, the money's there and everyone else is taken care of, then they start going their own way. But for the most part, you know, I come from a culture when you're 18, get the fuck out. I gotta live my life. I've been a single mother all the time. It's time for me to start living my life. That's where I'm from, you know.
And one more thing, because we are so sexually free here in America, they usually advise young boys in America to get it out your system first. That's why. That's why I say that younger women should date older men, because young guys just don't have that in their mindset right now.
Okay, fair. Good answers. Ashley, I appreciate your perspective, because it always comes back to the family. It always comes back to the foundation, which I can definitely agree with, because if you see it, you're more than likely to essentially repeat it. And that can be a good thing or a bad thing. But I love how you said they don't value marriage. In a Western world, no, I can definitely agree that marriage isn't as valued, and it's definitely spoken against, and it's spoken, you know, about negatively. And then, you know, social media in of itself does not help at all, along with these housewives shows and all the love and hip hop shows that we love to watch and that's popular. It doesn't help. So I really appreciate that perspective, as well as everyone else's. All right, Miss Johnson, go ahead. Do you think today's young couples fear marriage, or do you think that they don't think it makes sense in today's socioeconomic climate?
I think it's so different from when I was raised. And I come from the Dominican Republic, and my upbringing was really traditional. Like, the first person that you blink your eyes, that's the person you marry. And long-term relationships, that was the goal. But in my interactions, you know, with young people, you know, I see that there's just an openness, an opportunity, and I hear the word situationships from them. That's where I learned that word. I don't think that there may be a priority to get married. Their priorities are different. And, you know, anybody can sit here and debate their priorities, but it is what it is. And after you mentioned the word value, that's it. I think that that's key. It's what people value. Like, you know, what I value, you guys may not value, and vice versa. And so I think, once again, I think it's just the openness, the opportunities, and the culture has changed. It's completely different than me growing up.
And then also another thing that Ashley mentioned, and others, was the support as well from the family. That definitely does, I think, play a part in, because at the end of the day, if you don't see it, if you don't have the support, you're likely to stray away from it, if you will. Any final thoughts before my last question?
Well, I'll answer real quick. I think that I think it falls because, like I was saying earlier, I think women give up too much during the. I think they give it up before it even turns into a relationship. It's just like, I didn't even go on a date yet. And, you know, men are just fools. They're stupid. They'll fall for it's a trap. They'll fall for it, you know? And I always put everything on the men because lack of leadership. Just because she's given it doesn't mean you have to take it. But men, they don't a lot of times. Listen, when it turns like this, at night, it don't matter. They win it. But, you know, I'm not gonna whatever. It don't have to be whatever, right? And that's part of the reason. So I think that lack of leadership. I think older men fear marriage. Younger men don't fear marriage. It's just like it doesn't make sense.
Okay, you think it doesn't? You think young couples don't think it makes sense?
It just doesn't make sense, and I think it doesn't make sense because I don't believe, if you're not married, I don't believe you should be given oral sex, because that is very special to men. And if you're given that before marriage, why the hell would he marry you? Him having access to sex from you all the time like that, as if he's a married, as your husband, Once you give a man sex unlimited, marry for what? What's the difference with me marrying you? If I marry you, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Besides paperwork. So that's my take on that.
Okay.
And the men.
Okay.
And I think that traditional cultures, they just hold the man and the women equally accountable to stuff. That's why the marriages are stronger with other cultures, because they don't sugarcoat anything. They don't baby the woman over the men. They just hold everyone accountable. They have no problem with shaming. They will look down on you if you're not living right. They will do that. And that's the difference.
It plays into faith. I think, especially in the Western world, we have so many different spiritual and religious beliefs. But essentially, I see it as we live in a godless society. I mean, you can argue that statistically most people claim to be Christian, but who's actually living the life, that Christians are supposed to live? And do they uphold the moral compasses that, Christians believe in? I'm not saying that Christians are the only people, who have morals. I'm not saying that, but I think it comes down to faith, because within faith there are standards. Within faith there is some type of shame and expectation. So when you take that out of the equation, that's what I think equates to fear. That's what equates to sexual immorality, and essentially what we see in today's Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So based on your opinion, and I think Mr. He mentioned this or kind of alluded to this earlier in his answer, but based on your opinion, who does marriage benefit more, men or women? And whoever wants to answer, go ahead.
I say women. They don't have to come in with anything, and they can definitely leave with more than what they had. And in other ways, it benefits them. It gives them security. It takes them off the market to be in a position to get more trauma with single men. They definitely need to so-called sit their ass down somewhere when it comes to women, basically. And I think that's one benefit for men. If you're just running the streets, not getting anything done, I think marriage will actually make you become a man. It will make you get your priorities straight. But I definitely think it benefits the woman more, especially if the man has a lot to lose. The women, they can get paid for just leaving the marriage. They can get compensated very well, and that's turned into a hustle almost with rich men. So definitely women.
Okay, Miss Ashley, you can go ahead and go. I know you said you're going to have to leave soon, so you can go ahead and answer the question. Based on your opinion, who does marriage benefit more, men or women?
Well, I've had this conversation a few times, and men are very adamant that women benefit more. But usually when they talk about the benefits, they always talk about the fact that women are often rewarded alimony or the primary custody of the children after a divorce. And so I hear that, and I can understand why men say marriage benefits women more based off of that, because unfortunately, like Roberto was saying, a lot of women are using it as like a hustle now, like they're more so with wealthier men, but they're using that. Like I think about Cam Newton's girlfriend, she was popping those babies out, and to me, I saw it. I don't know why he didn't see it, but she was popping those babies out because she knew for every baby there was going to be a paycheck, So I get why men say that they benefit more, but I see that more so as greater risk. I think men have a greater risk when it comes to marriage. However, the benefits, I would say, just based off of some of the studies that we've seen time and time again about married men living longer, being healthier, and being wealthier, I would say they benefit more. That's not the case with married women. So it really just depends on your your measure of judgment.
Okay.
Like what you're using to measure that. If you're looking at health benefits, men benefit more. And that's been proven again, time and time again. If you're looking at like what Roberto was saying, security, women benefit more. So, yeah. And then we have to remember, it also depends on the people getting married.
True.
It really does. And what they offer, what they're coming with.
Mhm. Okay. Great answer. You always give like this lovely feminine answer. Great answer. Thank you. How about you, AR? Hostess with the mostest. What do you think?
I think they both benefit. If two people marry the right people, I think they both benefit equally in different ways, right? As far as for a man, I'm in New York City, urban community, and I know a lot of men work and marriage keeps them out of prison, right? Keeps them out of trouble. Keeps them, so that's just the men that I have in my circle who done some time, or they avoided a lot of different situations. Why? You look at Takeoff. Was it Takeoff that passed away? The Migos group. Offset.
Was it Takeoff?
Oh, yeah,
I can't remember. I can't know.
Yeah, he took off. Yeah, so Takeoff was the Takeoff and Quavo.
Oh man.
It's three.
Hey yo, bing bong.
Yeah, I'm like, oh.
All right, listen. There's three of them in the group. Don't matter. Let me see. Did I go out?
Hey, well,
can y'all see me?
Yeah, you
Take
out.
off, yeah,
Okay, yeah,
take
you
off,
did for a
take off
second,
came
yeah.
to you. You better
Right.
stop talking about that boy.
The only one. Listen. If you're doing hood nigga shit, I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, no. It happens every day. Urban communities, it's every day. Okay, you out doing dumb shit. I think a few women got shot as well. 2:30 a.m. What are you doing outside with a bunch of dudes? Playing CeeLo. CeeLo?
Yeah. Come
on. And I'm sure they had kids. Who's raising your children? But I think marriage and children and work keeps men out of a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Keeps men out. Every time a man gets arrested, look at the prisons, black men. When they got arrested, they wasn't at work. Very rare that they're not at work. They're not at work, and it's not their day off. They ain't got no job. So, but I think that modern women probably benefit more during marriages. But I think if it's a healthy balance, men are happy being married to the right person.
Right.
Okay.
Just make sure you have cameras. If she's a stay-at-home mom, make sure there's cameras in the crib. No Amazon, because Amazon been getting caught. Amazon been getting caught. But anyway, I'm done.
You crazy. So you saying these men are like Craig? He got fired on his day off. They went to jail on their day off, huh?
I don't think it was their day. They wasn't working. I don't think they had a job. They didn't have a job.
I like how you said, AR. You said basically, marriage gives men purpose, so he's not gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
I like that. Marriage gives a man purpose. How about you, Rick? Who does marriage benefit more, the man or the woman?
I'm normally not on the fence, so I'm normally straight up, gonna go one or the other. But I do like what he said at the end. For modern, in the modern days time, marriage benefits women more by far. It's not a question. But it's the purpose of it was to benefit the man, because if biblically speaking, the help meet was supposed to actually help him become a better man, enhance him. And what I mean become a better man is be better what he is, because no matter what, a woman is going to make a man. If a man's a drug dealer, she's going to make him the kingpin. You know what I'm saying? If he's a role player on a NBA team, he's going to become a starter or an all-star. You know what I'm saying? So y'all get my gist. He's going to become better at what he is. She always enhances him if she truly supports him. Now,
Mhm.
the purpose, like I said, who is married supposed to benefit more? It's supposed to be the man, because she's created for him. That's literally her purpose. You go to 1 Corinthians 11, it talks about the woman was created for the man. So
She sure
again,
was.
we love that she was, well, again, I know a lot of these brothers out here, and you know, that you see out in these streets, is they're a little sweet. So they talking a little, they be a little extra on the, and it goes from being upset at how women carry themselves to hatred. And it's like, ugh, come on, man. But the point is, marriage is supposed to be beneficial to us more, because like you said, we're gonna live longer. Like you said, we live longer lives, we do better. And of course, we all know that a woman, if she's created for the man, we know she is not even supposed to function without man one. So a woman without marriage or without a covering, because not all women can be married, but every woman should be covered by a man. So even if she doesn't have a husband, she should have a man she answers to. I mean, a man that tells her what to do. I know women don't think it's supposed to be, but there was no such thing as an independent woman in the Bible. I've never read about her in the scriptures. If she's there, somebody please point her out to me. So
she ain't even the woman at the well. She ain't.
Exactly.
Listen, Bella Rings, thank you for coming by. I know you gotta head out. Ashley, you gotta head out as well, right? Appreciate y'all.
Always a pleasure, Bella.
Good night.
Ashley.
Hey, peace.
Have a good night.
I actually got to roll pretty. I can't even stay too long. I actually got to do some things too. I actually got to.
Not a problem. Yeah, this is all right, bro. Yeah, Brick, I appreciate you coming on. I know you're a busy dude, man. Take care, man.
All right, peace, man.
Take care. This is pretty much the last question anyway. So, Roberta, did you answer this question? Who benefits more from the marriage?
Yeah,
you
I did.
it, right? Okay. Fior, right? Based on your opinion,
I agree with you. You know, that at least in my circle and my experience, that both benefited. You know, and you know, it could be peaceful. You know, it doesn't have to be, you know, what we see in social media or, you know, what you know we see in communities too. But
yeah,
it could be beneficial for both, and I've seen it.
Because you're in New York as well, right? And I mean, you know, work keeps people out. I think work. I be telling men, you know, especially if they just came out, get 2 jobs. I don't care if it's $15 an hour, $15 an hour. That's gonna keep you out. You're gonna build. Don't worry, man. You're gonna build, but 80 hours a week, and then after the 80 hours, find something, get another job. You know, volunteer. But brother, he said, "What do you think, man? Based on your opinion, right? Who does marriage benefit, the man or woman?"
I liked all you guys' answers. It kind of changed mine. I would have said the women, just because of the tangible assets that they could receive, like Roberto alluded to. But I'm gonna go with the men, man. Like you said, just the inspiration, you know, added on to the curation, the longer life, the better health, the more wealth. I think we benefit a little bit more in that aspect, in things that are a little more intangible. You can't feel and touch the things that we gain from it. And like I said, I think you just get an amazing lawyer. You get somebody that is by your side, that has your best interests at heart, you know, above all other people in the world. And I think that peace of mind alone, you know, is priceless.
I think a lot of the people that are married, or the people that have been married, they're just holding on to the information they have, because be honest. When you speak positive about marriage, y'all don't get attacked.
Nah, you don't get it. I mean, yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is that when people try to kind of allude it to you doing what you're supposed to do. And I think that's the most insensitive, you know, thing that you can say, kind of like I don't see color type of sentence, because, you know, being monogamous is a conscious decision. Speaking to love languages and being with somebody for so many years, it says a lot. And then when people just, you know, sum your relationship up for 30, for 40 years and say, well, we don't know what was going on behind closed doors. When they go home, we don't know if Martin Luther King was You know, like it's so disrespectful. Like when I see two people together for 30 years, I think two people was doing something right. I don't think any relationship is perfect and everything is harmonious in this utopia going on behind closed doors. But again, this is not men that do this. This is modern women that go, we don't know what he is, you know, behind closed doors in front of everybody. He looks so good and everything looks so fine. But when they go inside, it could be different. And that's just very insensitive. I think it's just wishful thinking. I think it's misery that loves company, and just, you know, the way that women behave when they, you know, want something that somebody else has. But y'all can always double up, ladies. So if
Can
you
I
ain't got
say
no
one
man,
thing?
you better holler at the family that does.
I've been
Yeah.
listening throughout the entire call, throughout the entire, you know, video podcast, whatever you want to call it. And I realized something, that whatever our opinion, it is based on our circle. It's based, you know, on our experiences. And to be honest with you, some of the things that I hear, I haven't experienced. There's people that are not in my circle, so it's difficult for me. And I apologize up front but it's the truth. And we talk about culture, but understand, I work in Albany, you know, and I live in Long Island. So my experience is very different. I'm in different pockets of, you know, my world. And so this is important for me to hear what's going out there. We can't just live in our own bubble. And so I appreciate both of you. And yes, Mr. He said, I did catch when you said you wouldn't solicit my counseling services, but understand that you would actually like me.
No, I would absolutely love you. Your personality is amazing, bright, and you know, I'm pretty sure you're intelligent. But again, it's just, you know, and like the sister said, it's certain avenues that you just can't go down, you know, based on your profession. But I think, you know, the difference in, you know, the professionals that go above and beyond, that stand out, are the ones that can reword it, rephrase it, put it in a still politically correct way, but still put it to me to see that I have a little bit of onus to play in this narrative that I come into your office and spit. If I just sit down and tell you my story, it's only one side. You still got another side from the other person, and the truth that's somewhere in the middle.
That's the
So,
beauty
you
of
know,
counseling. It's individualized. So if you and I sit down and talk, I'd understand and you'd understand my perspective, and we'd be so open. But one thing that I'm really cautious about is of my stance and my authority and how it impacts people. And I've had to learn that. Sometimes I've had to learn that the hard way. And so what I say, it can trigger somebody, it can hurt somebody, and it's something that will be in my conscience. And so I try to do my best. I don't mind, sharing my experiences and what and even learning from others' experiences, because that is exactly how we learn. And that is why I'm here, to learn from you guys and to understand what you're seeing that I'm not seeing. Because once again, I live in different pockets, and some of these topics, I mean, we're not talking about it because it's not happening. But when it comes to counseling, of course, it's so individualized, and we're talking directly to that person's issues, and obviously it's going to get a lot more personal and more direct, and that's something that we as counselors are mindful of, especially when we're in an open area. We're cautious about, and we should be, about the message that we're sending. And I can't generalize, because I know I speak to a lot of different people with different types of opinions and point of views. And can you imagine if I inflict my own on the world? Like, number one, that's unethical. But number two, it doesn't allow me to meet the person where they are. So that way I can understand and better assess them. So, I'm happy that we're able to have these conversations, and you guys, can have it even more freely than I can. But I appreciate.
Well, yeah, these conversations is that if you're licensed, certified to do something, we're adults. Like some people get mad at Vlad TV because the people go up there and like snitching. Hey man, you're an adult. You know what you're certified for. You know what you should do and you can't do. But I also take into consideration that you don't do too many of these, right? Where there's like people on there. So
no,
I do get that.
You actually interviewed me alone, and we were talking about personality types
Yep.
and
Different
attachment.
personality types.
You know, so it did
Yeah.
catch me off guard. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm here to learn. So, and I'm never gonna back down from a learning opportunity.
Yeah, and plus too, with these conversations, what it makes you do is makes you want to do your own research on it, right? A lot of these topics, I already done my research on it. I already done. It's not just about my personal life; it's also about American statistics and where did the statistic come from? You know, where did that come from? And then I just, you know, and go from there. But this is a lot of these conversations gonna make you want to open up. Like first time you come on here, we speak about abortions. Like, hold on, why would you say that? But then hold on, and then you go and then you get off, and you're like, you know what? Okay, cool. And
And I
just
talk about
it's a
that, but it's very, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's individualized, right? It's with that specific, and every person that I talk to is just so different.
Yeah. So, but listen, right before y'all go, I do have 2 more scenarios I want to do. Fiona, Melissa, are you up for that?
Sure.
The role playing.
Absolutely.
Okay, you are.
Oh, here we go.
You know,
that's why you're on pause now.
Yeah, that was a cynical laugh. Yeah, we hear you. That laugh was cynical too.
Okay. So this is a very common thing, right? What's very common? And you can tell me, I could change the scenario. You're married and you don't want to have any, should I do that one? You don't want to have sex, right? That's a very common thing that a lot of women don't want to do, right? You want me to change that scenario?
What woman are you talking about? I don't know them.
You're married.
I never met them.
Right?
Are we talking about you, Aeon?
No.
They all try to get some free therapy.
No. I mean, like that's a very that's a very common thing, right? I'm really big on comprehension. I think people communicate a little bit too much in relationships and marriages. I think there's too much communication. There needs to be comprehension. Understand what's being said. You want me to change that up? Wow, they really Wow, they hating on me, man.
Yeah, you saying some stuff.
All right, but can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right, so I'll change that up, right? All right, so all right, so you don't want to do that one, right? Okay, I'll change that one up. You have a hygiene problem, okay? So brother, he says going to communicate with you out of love, but you're his wife. You starting to have a hygiene problem. I'm not saying where, whatever. It could be the armpit, but it's just like, come on, man. Like, you know, you brush your teeth and it's like shit. It's worse. Who knows? But he got to communicate this to you out of love. Brother, he said, you ready?
Yeah, I guess I gotta be right. Hey, babe, you got a minute? I wanted to talk to you about something.
Sure, what's up?
What kind of deodorant are you using right now?
Oh, you know, the secret one. The one
Okay.
I always use.
Okay. And how's that working out for you? You thinking that's working out with your body type and
I think it's fine. What are you trying to say?
Okay. No, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but last time when we went dancing, I kind of, I put my head on your shoulder and I just caught a little bit of a whiff. So, I was just thinking maybe we can up the deodorant, volume or whatever they call that, so that something is a little bit stronger, or maybe if you're open for that.
Absolutely. I'm willing to, try maybe a different brand. Maybe this one no longer works for my body type at this moment. And at my age, maybe I'm changing.
There you go. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you as always. And I can't wait to go dancing with you next week.
All right. Sure.
All right. So now, was that too bad for you? So you think that situation better than the first one?
No. It was worse, but I had to do it. I wasn't gonna back down.
Yeah, that was hard right there.
That was worse, really. Oh,
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
hard.
man, that's hard. That's hard to
but I mean,
approach.
like, how do you really talk to your wife about sensitive things? How do you, and she took it well because it's a role playing, but how do you
Yeah.
really tell your wife, like, hey man, the fuck? Or
I mean,
you know-
you gotta be willing, AR. And I think that's the thing. You gotta, they know that you love them, and I think that's the other 364 days out the year. You gotta be showing them that you love them, that you're paying attention to them, that you care about them, so that when that comes out, it's just, it comes with the territory. Sometimes it's gonna be compliments, sometimes it's gonna be constructive criticism. And if you love me and you want to take one, you're gonna have to take the other.
I think
You know-
compassion too, like he showed me compassion and he didn't say like, you stink, like what's wrong with you? He really took it as, an opportunity to teach me that something's off and that I should look at it for my benefit, because I don't want to go out there, like that. So I think, using compassion and one thing that you mentioned, AR, is understanding. It's not only having the conversation, but where am I coming from? And also it's what the relationship had been like prior, because if it's a toxic relationship, it don't matter how compassionate you're saying, it ain't going down right, So it is establishing that, commonality and friendship and understanding in order for someone to receive something so sensitive as a way to, learn something, get something out of it.
Another common thing too is gaining weight, especially if you're after kids. How do you communicate that without making her feel like shit? So but listen, I got one more scenario, and then we're gonna head off. Who wants to be a deadbeat? Roberto. So, brother, he said, Roberto is I don't know, a brother, a close friend, whatever the case may be, and he's a deadbeat. Never seen his child, and you see his child out there wilding out. How you speak to him, as a man?
What up, Berto? How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm good, man. What's going on, man?
Ain't nothing, man. I just wanted to holler at you real quick about something, man. I seen June, down the way, and he was cutting up, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, man, and he could really use, a little bit of your direction and you in his life, man. Were you thinking about reaching out?
Man, man, with me and his mom, man, his mom been kind of planted a bad seed in his head about me, man. So I don't really want to fool with that. It's like, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just not feeling the situation, man, that she put his head in, man. I don't really want to fool with that.
True indeed. I understand, man. You ain't the only one going through that. But at the same time, man, he headed down a really bad path, man. You know how we came up when we were young, and we don't want them to go through the same thing. So, I was thinking about, encouraging you to reach out to him. And not only that, man, just, being aligned with you and you not in your son's life. I don't know if I could continue to do that. You know what I mean? It just sets a precedent and a narrative in my world. And when people see me hanging out with you, knowing June is down there acting up and you're not even in his life, it puts me in a different light. So I might have to step back from you for a little bit while y'all figure that out. And then, you holler at me when you guys get right, man.
Man, I understand, man. But maybe if I get him alone and talk to him, man, you know what I'm saying? But just dealing with him and his mother, man, it's just, I'm too old for that stress, man. But man, if maybe I can get him by himself and talk to him and see what he's thinking, man. Maybe he think different away from me. You know what I'm saying? So
true indeed.
I appreciate you talking to me.
True
maybe
indeed,
maybe I need to hear that. And
Hey man, because you wasn't involved in your daughter's life.
There you go. Yo, this is but this is a real conversation that I've had to have. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Just that, sometimes we have to put it to them that, it's not fair. I gotta take care of my kids. I gotta be a respectable man. And I'm not gonna come and yuck it up with you and slap you 5 and drink a beer with you and act like you the same man as me, because you not, bruh. And until you come to terms with that, I'm gonna holler at you from afar. I'm gonna be respectable and all of that, but me and you ain't gonna be seen chilling and yucking it up because we ain't the same quality of man.
Yeah, and I really believe, I think most men don't even know their friends got kids, man. Like the men that are deadbeats, most of us don't even know they have children. Most of us don't know. We can't even hold men accountable. We can hold a woman accountable because most women have, the baggage with them. But most men, they'll say they don't have no kids and they go live with another woman, take care of her kids. It's the craziest thing. And guess what? You know what another statistic is? Most fathers live within a 3-mile radius of their child.
Yeah.
They don't even live far. They live right around in the same area. And
I mean, wouldn't it make sense?
damn.
Because it's about proximity. We sit in these boxes and say that the girls sleep with the same guys, right? If 12 girls are sleeping with the same Pookie, of course he's going to be right up the street from his other child because the girl is right up the street from the other girl. So, all of the numbers, again, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. But again, like you said, the insensitivity and not only that, just the ignorance of, turning your back on a family to take care of somebody else's family or start another family like you're going to be a new you're not. You know what I mean? And no matter where you turn, there you are. So that's why it's good to just be a quality person, because you're the one that got to look yourself in the mirror every day. And you could say whatever you want, try to present yourself however you want, but you're the one that got to look yourself in the mirror every night. And if you're looking at a liar, let us know how that look.
Most men don't care about if their mirror is dirty. They're like, fuck it. I can still see through it a little bit right there. All right, cool. All right, I'm good. Fuck it. I mean, I'm taking, I adopted my nephew. It's not fair. What can I say to my brother? Take care of your kid. No. Yo, man, you gotta take care of your kid. No. What's in it for me? What do you say when a man says what's in it for me? Do you really go down the explanation of you get to build a legacy and he gets to grow up be like you? It's like, what do you do? There's literally men out there. Ask a man, say, hey man, you got kids? Yeah, what's the date of birth? They don't know it. And it's not because that's a common man thing. They don't know their kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of men have a good amount of men have financial issues. So they know if they even ask to see their kid, what's the first thing the woman's gonna say? You ain't paying shit. And she has every right. Nigga, you broke. How you coming to graduation and you can't afford the shoes? Isn't kids' shoes cheaper than adults? You can't afford nothing? Men gotta step that shit up, man.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
crazy how a woman's a single mother.
No, absolutely. And we're going to get to them AR again, but we just can't let the ladies dictate when we move along. We are absolutely going to get to them. I can't wait to get to the men, but I'm not going to let the ladies tell me, y'all need to stop talking about women. Y'all been talking about women too long. Nah, keep it in neutral. But when I get to the men, I'm going to cook their ass too. I'm going to cook them hard because they're not good leaders.
We can get to the men. But it's like what I'm saying. The evidence of their baggage is not visible.
Yeah.
A woman, you could just look at her and see she got stretch marks, right? She there's wear and tear. She has kids. No, I'm just saying, men are just like they're just walking around free and having sex with this woman, having sex with this woman, and then he go walk outside, meet a new woman. I don't have no kids.
Yeah.
Men that don't have social media, watch out for them.
Yeah. But AR, it's like, trust me, ladies, we want to hold the men accountable. Us men, we have no problem holding the men accountable. It's just that in our community, the women like the worst men. So after a while, you can't keep blaming, like you used to say, AR. Why are you blaming the man if he already a piece of shit? They don't pick the good ones. Now, I would understand if they picked the good ones and then they had this problem. Then the man just flake out. But they purposely go after the ones with no future. So it's like, sooner or later, the lady's gonna have to take accountability.
They won't do it though.
Yeah.
Eve didn't take accountability. Listen,
Or
the Garden of Eden, God said, listen, hey man, you can have all of this. You can have everything. But just that one thing, that's 3 countries away. Just don't take that one thing. She said, really? I don't qualify for that. That's a high value man. No, you know what? I would go anyway. So it's because I believe because of Eve, it's woman's nature to take what's not theirs, take what shouldn't be theirs, and it's really up to. And then you have the men with the lack of leadership. Even the good guys are getting caught out with child support. How the fuck does that?
What is that? But what is that? The taking what's not theirs, other than the example of Eve.
Men that are not responsible, men that are clearly not responsible. There's a big sign on them that says this is a dead end. Even if you've been through trauma, you had a messed up child, this is not the way to go. He's known to have kids, and most communities know who's who and know what's what and know who gets down with what.
The taking. So you're referring to men that are not available.
Men that are not available to be a leader in any positive capacity. Maybe a leader in the gangs. Yeah, they'll be, or the leader beating a woman's ass. They'll take leadership in that. But to be a man, work a 9 to 5, try to figure things out, go to therapy to get help. No, you ain't gonna do that shit. I think it's women. I believe due to Eve, I think it's in woman's nature to rebel, to try to override the man, to try to be to take a man's position. And when you don't have no leadership, they should have it. But then when they get it, they become baby mothers because he ain't no leader. And you're not using condoms. I mean, come on, So,
and even in our community, the good women want bad boys. See, at least in our community, the good guys, they want good women, but the good girls want bad boys also. So it's like the good guys can't win. There's too many good guys in our community that say they don't get play from women, or black women aren't checking for them. The cornier black men usually end up with other races of women. That's just the way it is. So, I mean, what do you do when the women are so caught up in bad men? I mean, that's just a recipe for disaster.
I think what has to happen, you got to let them. I just don't want my taxes being raised. That's really just what it is. New York, the taxes is fucking it's ridiculous. So y'all want to keep having children? That's fine. And most of these women are not good women. They think they are, but when you check out Shade Room and all that stuff like that, they're leaving you'll see something really toxic, and the so-called good woman is leaving comments supporting that. The good woman stands too close to the bad woman. How can you tell the difference? You can't. It's just, so I think that people that are good need to start going with good people, and people that are bad, just let them go. The men need to be stronger. The men definitely need to be stronger. I think men should be born with a condom on, You find a way. It should just grow right back when you're done. I don't know.
It's after 10 o'clock, huh? Yeah.
I think we got to figure something out. So as we close it out for y'all, Melissa, is there something you want to say? You have fun?
I did. It was very interesting. I learned a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
It was so nice meeting you.
Too.
Yeah, nice meeting
Go
you.
from there. Brother He said, you want to say something closing out, bro?
Yeah, man, you know, stay positive, stay strong. AR ain't shit.
As
I
always.
stick to that.
My mom raised me that way. So.
Berto, always a pleasure, brother. It
You
was
too.
so nice meeting Miss Johnson. And you know, AR, the conversation is always fruitful over here, man. You allow me to get my, you know, get my honest feelings out. And sometimes it's not palatable, but we can disagree without being disagreeable. And I think that's a mature way to have a conversation. And I'm always gonna give kudos to that. So you always bring different, you know, points of view and different mindsets onto the panel, and it's amazing. I love it here. Thanks for having me.
Brother He said, I appreciate you, man. Roberta, what you want to say as we close out, man?
Oh man, thanks for having me, Miss Johnson. It was a pleasure meeting you. Mr. He said, always, you know, respect. And man, thanks for having me, y'all.
Oh, and last thing I want to say as we're closing out. I think I said it before. What's his name? The football player. Damn, that announced his retirement. What's his name?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. He's a loser. He's a Pookie. He's a Ray Ray. He's a Pookie Ray. He announces went through all. I don't know the detail. I'm just telling you from what I, you know, the outside. You did all that to now you got divorced, and now you're announcing that.
So I want to. All right. Let's do it, because I just seen Neo got a divorce, right? And in the divorce, he got like 1 point something million. He got to pay the alimony, and he got to pay the fees for the lawyer, and he got to pay yada yada yada, whatever. My question to y'all is: do you think these men thought about these ramifications and consequences? We in 2023, we know what divorce brings and how costly it can be, yet they still did what they did. Do you think they thought about those consequences and weighed it out and then made this decision that they made, or they went in the heat of the moment? What do you guys think?
No, I don't think they thought about it. See, this, and I said this earlier about like modern women moving further away from God. When a man is on his purpose and about his career, he still wants to do what he's put here for. He still wants to be a husband. He still wants to have a family. And when women try to do the same thing, they want less kids. The marriage isn't their priority. That's only built for men. And as you can see, these men constantly want that marriage role. No matter how big they get, no matter how many options they have, they still looking to be that role that they're put here for. And they just don't seem to understand that it's not working in their favor that way. Because a lot of these women aren't really marrying them for the right purpose. They see dollar signs.
I think they got married because they got married because of love. I don't think marriage is designed for love. I think if you're in love, I think that's kind of like a red. 2023. I think love is a red flag. What resources? I think women should look for resources.
Damn.
Women should be looking for resources. If a woman get married to a man, she don't see that. If it goes wrong, if she wants to opt out, she don't get nothing. That's crazy. How is she worse off? No, she has to be benefiting. And I think that men need to be looking for what they get as well.
Yeah, because in other cultures, that's really how they sell marriage to people. They say, hey, what are you doing? You need to get a husband, you need to have some children. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they really sell it to people in other cultures. You need a wife, you need to have some kids, you need to, further your legacy. That sounds like business. It doesn't sound like love. It sounds like a purpose. And you're exactly right, AR. It needs to be more of a purpose as opposed to love.
You okay? So y'all really okay? other cultures, when they get married, you see this old dude, big belly, bald headed, look like he didn't wash his face, and then you'll see a young woman with 3 to 4 of his kids looking very attractive. You think that was love? Or is because of, okay, the benefit she's getting and the education and benefit that the children are going to receive? I also think, too, I think people that are attractive offer less.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Elaborate, please.
Attractive people don't have to offer much. They look good. Ugly man, yo, he got to come on. Ugly, no game. No matter how much weight you look up, you still fucking ugly, bro. That shit. Let me stop. But right, that's what I think. That's what I believe. I believe attractive people, their attractiveness is what they're offering. And I think in a lot of cases, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, if people are willing to take that, then that's their choice. But I'm not certain. I'm not convinced that that's the only thing that people are looking for.
They ain't looking for nothing much. Divorce is up. They ain't looking for. They're not. And we gotta be real. Most women that get divorced, they don't all this stuff, alimony. Y'all looking at celebrities. They ain't getting none of that shit.
Right. So look at Neo. If he got a divorce, he's getting a divorce now in 2023. You don't think that went through his mind when he's seeing that girl in the club, whatever, they eyes, caught in the night, however it went down. You don't think he thought to himself, man, this girl gonna leave me. If she find out about this girl, she gonna leave me. She gonna get half my stuff. She gonna get alimony. I'm gonna have to pay these royalties.
But he's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of money, and maybe it doesn't even do a dent in his pocket. So, or he planned this. I don't know if they had a prenup, and this is just what the prenup agreement said or stated. So.
Right. And Tom Brady, he was alluding to retirement, and it came to the point where his wife is like, you need to retire like you said you were, like you promised. And he said, no, I'm going back for one more year. And she said, well, if you go back for one more year, I'm leaving you. I would imagine that's how it went, because she left him. Right. Fast forward to now, she left. He goes back for one more year and then retires again for good. Did he really want her to leave in all actuality?
No,
I don't know.
No, I think because the year wasn't as successful as he planned. I think it just kind of hit him. Reality kind of came to head. You know what I'm saying? But I think he actually believed that he could have a successful year, and it just didn't pan out. So life is a bitch that way sometimes.
I got you. I mean, the only reason I'm asking y'all is because, for me, I'm just looking at the conversations that's being had in 2023, all of this knowledge that we starting to get about marriage, divorce, and prenup, so on and so forth. For men to move the way these two particular men are moving, especially Neo, I think he thought about it, and I think this is the honesty, quote unquote honesty, that grown-ups really don't want. They say they want it, but they don't want. Sometimes we weigh the scale as men. We are very logical. We think about almost all the moves that we gonna make. And once we weigh the scale, if you don't come out on the good end of the scale, we make the decision. And I don't know what Neo wife do or don't do at home, but I'm just thinking Neo ran through the scale and she didn't come out on the good side of it, no matter the millions of dollars, the fees, the kids. Some people, I was willing to pay double to the cab driver to get the damn girl away from me. Sometimes you got to show people that I just want you away from me. Paying, it'll be priceless. You can't put a price tag on getting away from dysfunction, on getting away from something that's just disagreeable and you don't want to be around. So, at the same time, we could say it's cheaper to keep her. Sometimes some people, it's priceless paying to get them away from you. So, if we're going to be honest, sometimes we got to be all the way honest that sometimes men, and in 2023, if men is getting divorced and paying a hefty tag to do that, I think they were willing and knowledgeable and conscious.
Yeah.
I think something that at least I've definitely seen it in myself, is that we paint ourselves this fairy tale story you know, and we want it to work. We, you know, some of us don't want to jump from relationship to relationship, but sometimes we overstay our welcome. And, you know, that's not healthy either. You know, staying in a toxic environment is not healthy. And so I understand what you're saying, you know, paying extra, you know, 2-3 Ubers just to make sure that, you know, you get the person away from you. But it is understanding ourselves, like, is this our threshold? Like, is it over? And if it's over, then let's make arrangements, you know, to make sure that it's peaceful and we have peace, our own internal peace to protect.
I told my wife from the beginning, 'cause my father told me this. I told her, if me cheating will lead you to divorce, let's not get married. Just give up the cheeks. And we'll decide from there. You know, if me cheating, because that's a very common thing, men cheating. Okay, cool. If me cheating will lead you to divorce, let's not get married.
Yeah.
Just be like any other woman I've been with. Or just sleep with you. You know?
And I say to a woman, if cheating is a deal breaker with any man you with, you shouldn't even be trying to be in a relationship. Because 99.9% of men cheat.
We're in an era where we have access to too much.
Yeah.
Men and women, we have access to a little bit too much. I think people like Neo, I don't know his situation, whatever. I think a lot of men, I know when I was making a lot of money quickly, I just didn't make rational decisions. All that money, I don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have it. I was, you know, even in my adult age, I was having money coming in. You gotta have the shit planned out before you start to get famous, and that's called parents. Parents should have that shit laid out. Parents should be having that. That's called a father. That should have been installed. So by the time I got that, it's normal for me to make these decisions. But as we know,
Wait, is that called Planned Parenthood? Like for real?
I've been to Planned Parenthood. They give out a lot of resources. Unfortunately,
No. I mean actually planning for parenthood.
Yeah, I know. But even with we spoke about abortions earlier, Planned Parenthood does give a lot of options. Some of them, I know there's some facilities that they like to sell the information, and I understand aborted babies are used for the chemicals in your hair, the foods that we eat, a lot of skincare. So I understand that they do want that. I get it, but there are a lot of options. But people just go with that. But this one thing about Neo, and then we could get off, right? I did agree with, and a lot, of course, the people in the comments did not agree with Neo and his wife, Krista Renee. So ghetto. Finalized the divorce. Neo paid $1 million. He paid whatever, right? But this is the thing. They can't bring new partner around the kids unless they're married or engaged to them. I love that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people disagree with that.
I agree with that too.
Frio Mills, what did you think about that?
I think that two seemingly healthy, intelligent people making some decisions for the children, I think that's perfect. It should be like that. You should be able to have a conversation and protect your kids, because divorce sometimes it's not nice. It's not, you know, healthy. It's not, you know, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on internally, outside. And you know, anything that you can do to protect children, I think that I'm all for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree with Ms. Johnson wholeheartedly. That would have been my answer if I was allowed to give an answer, you know, similar to how ladies answered it. It depends. I would have gave that on your last question. You know, who benefits from marriage? I think the kids. I think the best thing that you can give a kid is loving up on their mother or father, like loving your significant other, showing them a healthy relationship, you know, how to coexist when you don't agree, and so on and so forth. I think that's one of the best gifts that we can give them. But they kind of, you know, get lost by the wayside when we so focused on each other and what we're not doing or getting. The kids kind of get eclipsed, so to speak. So I agree with Miss Johnson wholeheartedly. Great answer. I think it's about the babies.
I do want to. I know I keep saying, but this is the very last thing. I want to get your opinion. Why do you think a lot of the women in the comments? I mean, it was like if you go to that same post, thousands of women that disagree with that, believing that they should be able to bring another man after divorce around the children. Why do you believe they feel that way?
Because it feels like you have some kind of control over what they do. That's basically what it is. They don't like that at all. Any kind of control they don't like. Even if you're with them, they don't like it. So you know if they're not with you, it's gonna be a problem also, even more so. It's
I think
control.
sometimes, I'm sorry, I think sometimes, people need to sit down and think about what's valuable and what their priorities are. And it is so easy when you are in a debate like that, in a divorce situation, to get caught up in your own feelings, in your own self. And so being able, that is why they have mediators, counselors even, in these types of, procedures. And, just sitting down and analyzing, all right, what is important? What should we protect? Yes, you and I have decided to part ways, but we still have what is important to us. What was important then? What's important now? And, making sure that, once again, the kids are protected. And, and they made that decision. It seems like I don't know, but it seems like they made that decision together. So it's not like, one of them said, oh, this is what we need to do, and the other one didn't agree. Based on the posting, and I don't know the full story, but if they made that decision together, that's valuable. That's healthy.
That's very rare, actually.
Yeah, true indeed. Yeah, I mean, because modern people don't want to date with intention. Intention brings too much emphasis on you as being able to be a good judge of character and pick a good partner. And that's what they don't want. They don't want that intention. But I think they both lose probably. And that's why they agreed, because you don't need to be bringing somebody around my child that you're not intentional with, that you don't have intentions on bringing into our family. And who's not to say that they both will have a fiance a year. Y'all know those people that lived in our neighborhood that, they only sleep with their boyfriend, but they got a new boyfriend like every month. So yeah, girl, you still loose. Like, you can call it whatever you want, and boys as well. You could call it whatever you want, but I just think y'all both are loose, don't have a lot of, maturity and discipline, because, look at what they did with that millions of dollars and that huge platform and the inspiration that they could be to our community. Look at the inspiration they wind up becoming, just, a talking point on a damn podcast. So that's what we don't want to become. We want to be a little more intentional about how we lead by example, how we can be the adults that we didn't have as kids, and we can kind of show the next generation what healthy relationships look like, even when it's not the most happiest and the most, equally yoked of unions.
I wanted to say, I think that the healthiest relationships, friendships, situation, whatever you want to call it, is when you can agree with the other person about what the expectation is. And I tell people, be careful about putting your own expectations on other people. Are you in agreement? Are you both in agreement? And I think, at least, in that posting, it seemed like they were in agreement. And we know that when people, expectations are not equal to one another, a lot of toxicity and conflict and chaos. And so, that it's important to sit down with people face to face. I try to tell people, avoid long text messages, because I know I love to write, and I've done that, have long conversations, but, sit down with people, talk to people, and just share what's in your heart, not judgmental, but, with a vision of understanding, with a good heart kind of thing, compassionate, right?
Yeah.
True indeed. Empathy is always good.
So look, right? So today's show was why milk the cow when you can get it for free, right? And basically letting women know, listen, if you give a man too much, he's gonna take it. And you don't have no value when it comes to marriage. Men don't value women when you're doing everything. You're giving him the most important thing. You're showing yourself online to the whole world. You're giving him access to sex before marriage, oral sex before marriage. Oral sex is very, very valuable to men, and you're giving. I mean, let's be real. You only have a few things up your sleeve as a woman. You don't have much over a guy
or a man.
No, men have a lot. Men have a lot, but women don't have that much before marriage. They don't have. So when you give up,
what exactly? Because I'm trying to figure this out. What
women only have their body, vagina, and their womb. Because even if you're making a good amount of money, for the most part, it's your money. You have to save your money. You get to save your money, and I have to, as a man, if you have a family or something, I'm gonna be looking. Okay, is he helping? What is it going on? I have to spend the money. So if we're not married and you're giving me everything that could create my legacy, why would I hold any liability? In a day and age where educated women are divorced at 90%, why would I do? Any logical man, if you sit in front of an attorney says yes, she'll have a bachelor's degree, yes, 90% of those women will file for divorce. You want to see a bookload of all the guys that got married, and it's pages of men that are living back on their mother's couch. They make six figures, they make $200,000, but they sleep in the basement. So women don't have too much up their sleeve. They only have a very few things. And if you try to hold anything else, you're just a number. There's so many other women. There's so many.
I would say it. Yeah. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
Okay. I'm good.
I would word it a little different, and I would actually phrase it as a question. And my question would be, what would you be giving or saving for your husband that you've given to no other man before him? And I would love to hear a woman's answer to that question, because again, like AR said, it's just certain things that I wouldn't say should be saved, but I'm gonna say preservation is key. I think that if there's not a list of things that you can tell this man that's going to be your potential husband that you can offer him that you haven't offered any other men, how does that make him any different or special in regards to how you see him?
Question, and I speak with a lot of men and a lot of women and young people and older people. And one thing that I say when they come to me is, I have a lot of, dating opportunities and I date a lot of people, but I haven't found the right one. And I'm like, so what can we do differently? If you've tried that way, what's an alternative? And I'm not here to give them the answer, but I'm here to explore and to, what can we do? What can you, and I put sometimes we just, as this is our partnership. I'm trying to get stuff out of you, a different mindset, because what you're doing, has it been working? And then they'll tell me no. And I'm like, so we've got to try something different. And then you tell me, you start coming up and I'll write down all the things that you can do differently. Or you know what? I should withhold intimacy because, I just give it up on the first date and it just doesn't lead anywhere. So I think people should have those internal conversations, even with themselves, with their friends. You don't have to see a counselor. You could. With people that love you, people that support you, but you have to challenge yourself. If you know that something is not working, then you must change it, and change is hard. I know, trust me, I've been there, but you have to change your mentality, your behavior, because guess what? We are habitual nature's made us this way. If we, there's something that, I always use idiosyncrasies. How do we do what we do? And if we continue to do the same thing and we're expecting different results, we know what that's called.
Yeah.
And so, I definitely in counseling, I'm very straight up and I'm like, listen, you can tell me what you're doing until we're both blue in the face. But if your behavior is still the same way, then either you need to get a different therapist because maybe I'm not doing a good job, or we need another strategy. And I'm very solution focused. That is one of, my key, modalities is We can't talk about the same thing all over again. If you know that there's a pattern, there's a behavior, you've seen it in your family where there's some toxicity with relationships, then you have to do something.
Yeah.
And what is that? Together we can come up with that.
But women have to do that. Listen, sometimes you may need to restart. Once you're already doing that to a guy, that's done. That's done. And you can't be having kids, because once men see you have a kid, then it's like it's already in us. Like, okay, now you're gonna try to be a virgin. How are you gonna do it? Put the kid back?
So that's how you guys feel,
done.
because this is good information for me, you know, as a woman. Like, is that how you guys view women? Like, if they give it up, or, you know, however many days, like what goes through your minds?
I know I don't like it. Once you've been sexually active, we're grown, we're at a certain age. I don't want the after school special treatment. You know what I'm saying? We grown folks, we know what it's about. But since we're older, I advise the women to be straight up about what they want. I have no problem with a woman saying, "Hey, I'm looking to get married. I'm looking for a husband. This is what I'm focused on right now." I have no problem with a woman saying that. Don't try to say, "Well, you know, if it happened." No, women have to be very assertive about what they want, or we will play along and, you know, get what we can out of them. So with men, women have to be more assertive about what they want and demand it from them.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
I mean, the dating phase could go really great, and the man could really look at the woman like, you know, he's taking her serious. But as soon as he detect the hole, I mean, soon as that shit creeps in, men won't say nothing. It's just like, okay, this is okay. Wow. Okay. I gotta put it on the side. She gets once you get put in that whole box, that's it. That's your home. That's your residence.
Yeah.
And in that guy's mind. And, you know, yeah. So men and you know, in a men's lens, I think a good amount of men can tell when a woman is experienced. Experience means used up. Experience means used up. You got too much experience. I can't. You know more than me. What the hell can I? If I'm not the leader, if I can't lead you, if I can't teach you, then
girl,
damn, you the man.
Yeah,
take my pants.
It is a turnoff for a woman to brag about how good her stuff is. To be overly sexual, that's a turnoff to us when you like trying to sell yourself as having this good stuff. This is why we look at Nicki Minaj and them the way that we do. Look what they rap about. Well, that's a turnoff, really. I mean, yeah, we'll hit you, but that's just too much. We want a woman that seemed to be a little humble, you know, seem to be a little bit, you know,
you muted. Nope, come back, Berto.
No, he's not muted.
He was cooking. He was cooking too.
Still can't hear you.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go out, come back.
Yeah, this system doesn't want no holes, man. Roberto said it mutes you, man. So it'll be back on, but you know, that's the main thing. Most men that even the simps, they know we could just detect. We can tell when a woman is used up.
Yeah.
Some things that women say would just put them in the whole box. And it's just like, All right,
and
let me
and
get-
and the more intellectual ones can see even faster, and that's the thing. A lot of men, proclaim to be simple and are simple, but some men are not. Some men are a little more sophisticated, so they want to go to your old neighborhood. They want to see how certain people receive you, who can touch that small on your back and your shoulder and lean over and whisper in your ear, and just how you're received when you're in a crowd of your peers or your schoolmates, whatever the case may be. But I think it's observation. I think in your mannerisms, in all of those things we're going to take into consideration. I don't think we mind that you smash us on the first date. I mean, shoot, you around me, with this suit and this pocket square and this cologne. Yeah, panties sometimes find their way off, and we can understand that. But at the same time, I think that it's a mannerism. I think it's the way we carry ourselves and the information that we can give up and other people can give up about ourselves that let a man know how extensive your knowledge is without him having to sit you down and ask you crass questions or anything. So I think that there is a level of man that can observe and use sophistication to kind of figure out. But like AR said, we definitely do read the label on your box. I don't think we put anybody in a box. I think you already have the label written. You already a hoe. I just read the label that comes with hoe because you show me all the actions and walk like a duck, talk like a duck. So I don't go for the people that say, you putting me in a box. I don't put you in nothing. You come in your box already. I just read the label because, again, people want to always put the onus on you that you did something wrong. But no, your actions, the way you carry yourself, the way I receive you gets a little bit of legitimacy too. You can't just blame me because you acting cantankerous and I'm receiving you as cantankerous. And when I tell you I'm wrong, I hate women. No, I love women very much. I love my wife and my mother and my 4 daughters and the foster children and the children that we taken. Wow. I don't hate at all, but I am in a position and I am the type of a man that can correct, that can give some constructive criticism. And if I got to run down my resume for you to be willing to listen to some knowledge, I will. But that's the problem that we have. Women should just be willing to take man's, correction, dictation, and so on and so forth. Because if something's happening to you in the street, or if you're, sinking on the Titanic, it's always women and children first, and a damsel in distress. And if I have to let my wife know that what I'm offering to you that I don't offer to the women is my life, and I'll lay it down in a heartbeat for you. You know what I mean? And I think that when people start to look at it like life really is, that, us as men deserve a little bit of, constructive criticism that we can throw at y'all when we see fit, and not get no pushback and, telling us why we saying all of that when all we're trying to do is be better as people, be together, and ask women to have a little bit of a more pleasant attitude when they're around us. I don't think it's a lot to ask. And I think men will continue to ask until women are at least willing to say, I hear what you're saying, but no, I'm not going to do it. But blaming us and coming up with all the excuses for the pushback just makes the conversation go further.
All right, we're going to end it this time. All right. I appreciate everyone coming out. Thanks a lot.
This time for real. It,
yeah,
man.
Because it's 2 hours and 42. Yeah, we could be here for a long time. I don't mind it, but I know that's, yeah. So it was good.
Have a great night, everybody.
I know you've been busy. I appreciate you coming on, dealing with those ratchets, and we'll go from there, okay?
All right, y'all.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
What are you doing here? The movie's over.
It's over.